West Ham are absolute shite. Oh no, yeah, 2-0 Liverpool. Makes you bloody sick. Makes you bloody sick. Come on, I want to go bloody live. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Perfect timing, but to be honest with you, it well and truly just confirms what this sort of season's been. West Ham absolutely atrocious. Liverpool have just hit a goal through Coutinho because I've never seen a team more on the beach than West Ham, but I would prefer Arsenal to get top four over Liverpool, but I think they're both pretty poor teams, and I think they're both reflections of how bad we've been this season. It makes me, I feel a bit sick about it, to be honest. I'm sickened by the fact that we've just been so bad in the league this season and allowed these bloody muppets to get top four, whether it's Arsenal or Liverpool. Really makes me sick. Really makes me sick. But they will get top four because we handed them on a plate. Really does make me sick. Someone was saying it was a good goal by Coutinho. Disagree. I just think West Ham are absolutely atrocious. Of course, let's not forget West Ham turning up to I'm waiting on the team news yet. We've only got ourselves to blame. Team news is in. Let me just give that to you as well. Sorry, I wear my heart on my sleeve and I'm just a little bit disappointed. But, you shouldn't be focusing on others anyway. And we were never going to get top four, obviously. I just didn't really want Liverpool to get it, if I'm honest. De Gea in goal. Twansebe starts, which is good. I've got Ross joining me. I'll just get him on in a minute. Let me get queued up. A little bit late. De Gea in goal. Twansebe, Bailly, Jones, Smalling. Weird. Blind, Carrick, Mata, Rooney, Lingard, Martial. So we're playing five at the back. Oh, good. So not only are we just going to have to sit and watch Liverpool confirm top four, we're also going to have to sit and watch Manchester United park the bus against another side away from home. Just end this league season now, please. Ross, can you hear me?
How do you, Mark?
Yeah, good, thanks. Just saw Liverpool more or less confirm their top four position. And then swiftly followed by that, just saw our team news come out where it looks like we're playing a back five and parking the bus. What are your thoughts?
Firstly, on West Ham, Liverpool, do you know what? That's what happens when you rely on West Ham to do you a favour. We put ourselves in that position, so we can't blame West Ham. We can only really blame ourselves. Yeah, that team lineup, I can't work out what it is yet. I've only obviously just seen it, but 1, 2, 3, back five. That is a solid back five. There's not even wing backs in that. Twansebe's not a wing back. Blind's not a wing back. That is a solid back five, which is that is bizarre. Yeah, I've never thought I'd see United play. I thought I'd see United play three at the back with wing backs at some points, but not a solid back five. It's strange. But yeah, it's strange. I can't even be. It's hard. I don't know if I'm positive or not about this yet. I still think that we'll win today. I just don't think that. I think Tottenham will bottle it, but the team doesn't look great at all to me.
There's not a lot of pace in it, let's be honest. The bench, I'm typing it all out for you now, but the bench is Romero as expected. Darmian, Mitchell, under Herrera, McTominay, Mkhitaryan and Rashford. So there are options on the bench, but we're going to pick this up on the Sunday show tonight in relation to it needs to be discussed. It's great to be in the final, but we were basically a sitter away from being out of that, and the league form is obviously frustrating because it has allowed what we're watching, or if anyone's actually watching the Liverpool game, to happen whereby we've just totally and utterly handed it to them on a plate. I was talking about it a bit yesterday. My frustration is just by the fact that people on about it's 3-0 to Liverpool now. I don't know what people think about West Ham. I think they're an absolute disgrace, to be honest. They may as well be in Magaluf because they're definitely on the beach. But yeah, it just makes me sick. I want the Premier League to end. I've got to be honest. I want the Premier League to end because it's just been totally. I agree with you, Ross. It's just total and utter sickening to sit and watch the fact that we're probably going to finish 6th. But what really gets on my nerves, and I'm not being negative about the season in general, because the League Cup's been good and we could win the Europa League, but we are Manchester United and we shouldn't just ignore what's been a total and utter embarrassment in the league. And I just think Mourinho's attitude towards it over the last couple of games has been shocking as well. Like, I mean, we've basically lost this game before we've even started it. And like you, we're going there parking the bus. I mean, I just don't know how long he's going to get away with doing that.
Yeah, it's strange. I kind of, as a joke, I tweeted the FA to say, you know, we are the biggest money spinner for the FA and the Premier League, and the biggest club in the Premier League as far as revenue has given up on it 5 games towards the end.
Yeah.
You know, what are your thoughts, FA? And look, you know, I had a bit of a pop saying it's down to poor refereeing decisions and fixture congestions, but I just think they're lame excuses. At the end of the day, we need to. Yeah, we have got a huge squad, and yeah, I know like there was the talk that the second team isn't really that good, but there's still a lot of money being paid out in wages to even our second team and players like Rooney and stuff. They need to step up, and I think today, it was a good chance for United to send out a bit of a message. The last 2 games of the season to say we're not finished, we're coming back next season, and give players a point to prove. But I just think that formation and the team he's put out just sends a negative message, not only to the fans, but to the players as well. When you're playing a back 5, you know what, you know, this could, I would struggle to see a shot on target in the first half for us, to be honest, looking at that team.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good comment here from Brew FM, because I think people still think that they can come on here and wind me up or give us a bit of banter from rival fans. Look, you know what? I've said this so many times. There's really very little point trying to wind us up if you're a rival of another fan, because we do quite a good job ourselves. You know, we are quite vocal about things that we're not happy about. And I tell you what, I wish West Ham had played like this at Old Trafford. Jesus Christ. They're like, you know, they're like a defence of snowmen in 30 degrees. They just evaporate every time Liverpool get the ball. I've seen teams on the beach, but this is just ridiculous. But Brew FM says, so how's the guarantee about finishing above Liverpool going? I love it. You know, he's probably had that as a little like diary note to flash up in the middle of May. I said in January, I've actually got a £50 bet with a Liverpool Twitter account that Manchester United would finish above them. And it's a charity bet, which I will happily pay, and I'll show that as soon as it's confirmed next Sunday. But I stand by it, Ross. I don't know about you. I mean, I can't be the one who takes the banter about that, saying that Manchester United will finish above Liverpool in January, because we should have finished above them. The reality is, look at the points we've dropped this season. It's not the fans' fault that we've not finished above Liverpool. It's 100% the players. I think it's totally and utterly embarrassing, to be honest. Absolutely embarrassing on Manchester United's point. Premier League season, I mean, what we've done in the Europa League, there's an element of luck to that, but the Premier League season has been an absolute disgrace, and everybody knows where I put the blame for that. It's down to the players. They're not good enough.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a shambles, to be honest, and I'm looking at Jose Mourinho, and like you, mate, I back him, but I'm looking at his record in the league, and I think apart from the 2 seasons that he was sacked, this has been his worst performance from him. And it's not just, you know, you've got to blame the players, I agree, but I think when we're going out, like we went out to City, like we went out to even Swansea, and this game, we go out with this negative style of play, and it just sends out negative messages to the players. And I think a bit of that happened on Thursday night, because Jose said after the game that he expected that to happen. I think when you expect that to happen, that rubs off on the players. And you could see it when we went a goal up. They look nervous. And it's strange, and he needs to get rid of that. And I hope that I completely trust him that next season he will get rid of that out of the team, or get rid of the players out of the team, and we'll come back stronger. But again, our whole season relies on, like you just said, you know, a missed open goal really from Guedes, and a hopeful that we can scrape a win at Ajax. Strange.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Sunday show tonight is more going to be about the reality of the situation. I mean, I'm very excited about the Europa League. If anyone saw the match reaction on Thursday, you just fall into that bubble of, oh, I don't care, the fact that we were really lucky we're there, let the haters hate and all this lot. But then, it's like anything in life, isn't it? You have a little bit of time to think about things and you really start to assess it properly. And tonight's Sunday show will be quite quickly after the back of this because it's a half 4 kickoff, but we will be live at 8:30. And really we're going to be talking about that Europa League final and Mourinho's team selections because, I've got to be honest, it was a sitter by Guidetti. He scores that, we're out. And then we're playing this game today. Before we've played, we're watching this result from Liverpool and we know top four's gone. So what a horrific 3 days that would be. And we've still got 3 Premier League games to play knowing that our season's over. At least we've got that Europa League final, which is just massive for us now. But I am disappointed. I've been disappointed in United probably for about the last 5 weeks, to be honest. I thought the Anderlecht display at home was embarrassing. Defending and trying to hit a team on the break at home it baffles me. We did it against Swansea in the Premier League. We did it again on Thursday night. And he has this odd... it's more for tonight, but and we will get into it tonight because I want to talk about this team against Spurs. But I don't understand what he's doing. I really don't. I don't understand it. And this is probably the side of Mourinho I've never seen because I've seen the success from afar, and I still believe we win the title next year. But I think I know a couple of Chelsea fans from work. My dad's a Chelsea fan, and he said, "Look, he's a fantastic manager, but I'll guarantee you, you'll be pulling your hair out with him at times. He is a very stubborn, frustrating manager." And the one thing I don't understand at the moment is this constant negativity before a game's been kicked. And we're clearly going to park the bus today. And I just think, why are we parking the bus? We're not going to get top 4. We've got 3 Premier League games. Why are we going to go to Spurs and Southampton, park the bus, Palace, just play a drab game out? Just put some kids in there. Just give us something to be excited about. Because to be honest, the Premier League has been an embarrassment.
Spot on, mate. I'd rather see the full resis today go toe-to-toe with Tottenham and lose 3-0 than play 5 defenders. Because I think that's what we're used to. And we'll back it. And that's what Jose needs to realise, that the United fans will not be disappointed if we lose to Tottenham today. We just wanted to see us go at them. Maybe see a bit of youth. I know Transidi's playing again today. Fantastic. But I wanted to see us go toe-to-toe with Tottenham and not just sort of concede by playing 5 at the back. It's 5 at the back, and it's Michael Carrick, who is a great player, but he's very defensive-minded. So you're almost looking at 6 negative, defensive players with your counter-attacking top 4 of Rooney, Mata, Lingard, and Martial. And there's only one player with pace there who is, let's get it straight, massively out of form. So
yeah, Lingard.
Oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
A lot of people going on about negativity. Look, I don't apologise for that, and I don't. The United stand's not necessarily about what me or Ross say. It's about what everyone else is saying in the live comments. The timing isn't ideal. I mean, I didn't have any intention of coming on here and being negative, but the reality is, in the 10 minutes we've been live, we've seen Liverpool go from 1-0 up to 3-0 up, and basically cement Champions League football. Our Champions League football hopes are on the basis of parking a bus, I predict, against a very good attacking Ajax side, and it's touch and go. And I think there is a lot of nervousness. I haven't spoken to a United fan yet who's confident. I mean, we can beat Ajax, and I'm hoping that we do. But I've not met anybody yet who said, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll beat them." But what I do know is, because history is fact and the future is yet to be written, we should be in 4th place. I mean, I don't care what anybody says about how bad we've been this season, the amount of points we've dropped. So of course I'm a bit negative, and of course I'm a bit frustrated, because just to see it go is I've known it's been gone. I've said it for a long time, but the reality, again, our 4th season, out of the last 4 seasons, we've been outside the top 4 3 times. I mean, we're Manchester United. That's just not good enough. We used to moan under Sir Alex if we finished second, or I can't remember really finishing third, but second. I mean, we can't even get in the top 4, and it is very, very, very hard to swallow. And I will refuse to ever be one of those people in the comments who say, "Oh, it's just the way it is. We don't deserve it." I can't be that fan. I can't. As Manchester United, we should always be fighting for the title, and it's not good enough. It isn't good enough.
No, definitely not. It's infuriating, but we have got to try and think of the positives, and there is one huge positive in there for me, which is there's two actually. It's good to see Transivi start again. I thought he was fantastic last game we played, and it'd be nice to see him up against big game bottler Harry Kane today, and also Juan Mata, who I want to see Juan Mata play. To be honest, I want to see him play today, play well. I want to see him rested for our last game of the season, and then play in the final. Because I think you tweeted it out, Mark, and it was bang on. He's so key for us. Key player, scoring in big games, and he creates a lot of opportunities. And I think that Lingard does his best. I think he's a good squad player, but now Mata's back, he should be the one pushing Lingard out. And Lingard doesn't work harder than Mata. I don't. There's no reason why Lingard should ever start a game above him. They're both playing today, so we'll see who is the better player. But it'd just be nice to see, Mata not playing as a wing back or something like that. But Jones could be playing in midfield, which is again suicide. But there could be some surprises. I'm not quite sure. I really don't know how this team lines up. To be honest, I'm still trying to work it out.
Degree Fuser says, I feel like Mark needs to take Mourinho over his knee and give him a good old-fashioned spanking. I tell you what, I would relish the opportunity to have a 5-minute chat with Jose Mourinho, because there's a few things I would ask him. I really respect him. I think he's a great manager, and I think he's the right manager for Manchester United. But I'd just love to try and get an honest answer out of him about a couple of players. Fellaini, and George Kyle's begged me not to speak about Fellaini because I know everyone's back on his bandwagon at the moment, and it was a good goal on Thursday, but I don't care. I'll argue with anybody. The football we play with somebody like that in the midfield is just slow and boring. And let's not forget, you take his goal away from that Anderlecht performance, and we were very lucky. I mean, with not out at Anderlecht, Celta Vigo, but more importantly than Fellaini, to be fair, I don't understand the Lingard position. I mean, I've had people moaning to me today saying, oh, you're not a real United fan because you should always be backing the players in the shirt. Well, to be honest, I disagree with that, because I think, look, Manchester United, as a Manchester United fan, I've been here a lot longer than a lot of these players have been playing for, well, all of these players have been playing for Manchester United, and I'll be here a long time afterwards. And surely as a fan, you have a right to be vocal about somebody that you don't think is befitting of the shirt. Surely that's what being a fan is. I think it's quite naive to just say, oh, I'm going to back everybody who wears the shirt. Well, of course you back them, but if they've been proved not to be good enough, then you've got to question that. And I don't get Lingard. When he got the new contract, I thought, yeah, as a squad player, he's quite good. But I am very alarmed that he's a first-team player, Ross. I don't see it. And I tell you what, I'm absolutely terrified. I don't want to get into tonight's show too much because there's a good bit of tactical and debate open for the show tonight. But like he's confirmed Romero will play over De Gea, which I find baffling as well. I pretty much guarantee he'll start Fellaini and Lingard. And to be honest, if I had the choice between the two, I would start Fellaini. But Lingard Mata has got to play. The Ajax are a technical side. And I don't understand the Lingard thing.
Yeah, I'm same with you. I agree with the new contract. I think as a squad player going forward, it's nice to have players in the team that are happy to not play. I think Jesse is one of them players. I think he could quite easily not play for 5 games, and you wouldn't hear rumblings of him that he wanted to leave, which you need them sort of players in the team. But this season, he's playing way too often, and we can all see that, and we're all furious with it. But you absolutely, I think we all absolutely back Mourinho to replace. We're not going to replace him, but just replace that position so he doesn't play as much. And that's why we're being linked to Rodriguez and players like Griezmann who kind of play where Lingard's playing, because sometimes he's playing as a number 10, which is bizarre. But he's one of them, isn't he? Because he's not a winger, because he's not quick enough. He's not a number 10. He's not creative enough. He's not a centre midfielder. He's not strong enough. It's bizarre what his position is, to be honest.
I'll tell you what I find about Lingard, the biggest problem with him, because he has got some technical ability and he has got some pace. His biggest problem, and Sir Alex Ferguson pointed it out years ago, is that he's just got no upper body strength. And if it's fucking hell, 4-0 to Liverpool now. Sorry for the swearing, it's disgusting. But he's got no upper body strength, and this is he's a lad in his mid-20s. I don't understand why he can't get down the gym and just get down the gym, bulk up, because he's just a streak of PISS. And I agree with you. I think as a bench player, he's got some value. But if he was like, I tell you what, if he was French, he'd just be. I'm going to be really harsh here. He's only kept at the club because he's English and local. If he was French, he basically is David Bellion Mark II. I don't really think he's much better. I really don't. I just think he's in that fortunate position of being a local lad and English, and that gives you a massive advantage. But if he's going to be part of our first team squad, I think we're going to have a lot of trouble next year. Raw Tiger says this talk is very negative. We will win, then your salt will go away. Learn to respect. If Manchester United win 4-0 tonight, it's not going to change what I feel about now, because it won't change the fact that our league has been a joke. In fact, Ross, it'd be quite ironic if Manchester United went and blew Spurs away 4-0 tonight, because it won't mean anything. We'll be very happy, but I think this is deeper than that. We've not even spoken about the Spurs lineup yet, because I think we're watching this Liverpool thing and knowing that top four is now officially gone. I think there's a lot of resentment towards this Premier League season and the way we've played in it. I think there's a lot of United fans who are just very, very eyes wide open to the issues within the squad. We're all praying to win the Europa League, but we weren't convincing against Anderlecht. Extra time it took, and we were one kick away from going out. So I think I would argue back that those who are very positive, actually, you're being very naive. We all want success and we're begging for it, and I think it will come next year, but this season's not been good enough.
It's a double-edged sword for me, this game as well, because if we win playing the team that we're playing today with the negative football, it gives Jose more inclination to play this way in the future. Where if we go out and get battered, he'll realise that this team can't do the defensive job and we need to go toe-to-toe with teams. I think like us, though, I think Jose has seen he lacks faith in this team. I mean, at the first 6 months, we were all, up in arms. It was brilliant. He was playing the way United should, and we were attacking teams, but we just were not getting the results. Few injuries. I think he lost confidence after a few mistakes from players, and he's gone to completely sort of negative. He's just trying to consolidate the rest of the season now. He obviously there was a time where he's looked at it and gone, Europa League is the only way with the players that I have. And again, the Premier League will always be disappointing for us, and we'll get a lot of stick from rival fans for finishing sixth, or maybe even worse. But if we do win the Europa League, it gives us some hope, doesn't it? Going into sort of the summer, going into next season with hopefully, what I'm looking at is about 10 players to leave and about 6 to come in, to be honest.
It's going to be a really interesting summer. It's all about the Europa League, and like I say, tonight's show is really going to be touching on that. I tell you what, if you're a West Ham fan, you're an absolute disgrace. You really are. But we can't throw stones. All I would say before we talk about this Spurs game is top four was comfortably in our hands this year, and we threw it away. And Liverpool can say whatever they like about getting it, and the reality is they've got it. But we should be very ashamed of ourselves for giving it away so wastefully. Missed opportunities is what our season's all been about, and it frustrates a lot of United fans. But one of the other things we're going to talk about on the Sunday show tonight is just how long could Jose Mourinho get away with being, grinding out results but ultimately playing negative football. I've seen us play good football this year, but it's gone very negative lately. I don't think he'll last long at United. I don't think United fans are that inclined to just put up with success with crap football, Ross. I don't know what you think. It's only a very quick insight I want, because we're going to discuss it a bit later on. But I don't think... Roy Keane got a lot of stick on Friday morning for what he said after the game when we'd won. But actually, if you listen to it back, he's only a Guidetti goal away from being spot on. And in fact, he is spot on. What he said is, look, United, with that side against Celta Vigo, should just be rolling up and blitzing them away and winning that game 3-0 and then taking their foot off the pedal for the last half an hour and resting players. Sitting back and playing counter-attacking football against the poor side like that is embarrassing. And that's basically what Keane said on Thursday night. But a load of United fans give him a load of stick. And I think he was right. I really do think he was right.
He is right. He's totally right. But I think what Keane needs to do, like all United fans will do, is just realise that this is Jose's first season. That the players might need some stick, granted, but it's his first season. I think like we did with Van Gaal, we'd all give Jose 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So next season is massive and it's key. And I think the difference between, I always compare to Van Gaal and even Moyes is we've seen what Jose can do with this team in spurts. Against the Chelsea game, we've seen that, that Jose sometimes with a negative tactic can completely outfox a team, and we've also seen he can blow teams away. I remember the Leicester game and we just smashed them, to be honest. But I don't think he has the players, and there's this Van Gaal mentality in the players, and maybe even a bit of Moyes with some of them as well, and it needs to go. And I think Jose's given them all a year. Next season we can criticise. I think if we start playing that this way at the start of next season, I agree with you, Mark. Jose won't last till Christmas. Definitely not.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I really would. But we'll pick all this up on Thursday. Tonight at 8:30. Chris Noddings made a contribution on the super chat. He says Europa gets us the Champions League football, but there's something unsettling about being happy with winning a title that we never actually wanted to be in. Well, you know what, Chris, I do sort of agree with you, but you know what, it's bloody lucky that we paid enough lip service to the Europa League that we actually managed to get this far into it, because otherwise we'd be sat here right now going, well, I don't know what we'd be saying, because top 4 would be officially gone. So at least we have that opportunity. It's a massive, massive game for us, that Europa League final, and I'm nervous about it. I am nervous about it because I've not seen anything against Anderlecht or against Celta Vigo, both pretty poor teams, I think. Ross, you called them a pub team that would make me feel confident. We've had a few super chats. Let me just read those. Sonny the Dude, thank you for that. He says he wants to see who would defend well centre back for Ajax, maybe. Yeah. Danish Shastri says whenever anyone criticised Lingard, I miss Alex. And Shari Kara says James will be United's best signing in 3 years. I think he's talking about James Rodriguez there. But let's talk about the team. Let's bring it back to Spurs. I mean, disappointment aside of the Premier League, it really does wind me up seeing that Klopp Pratt smug on the side getting top 4, and we have given it in. I've got to move on. But we are playing Spurs, who I have quite honestly said that they are the best footballing side we've played this season. I know we beat them at Old Trafford, but I was very impressed with them. And I think if, like Ross was saying, Harry Kane has never scored against United. He never turns up against us. And I think if they'd had a striker in that Old Trafford game, we might not have won it 1-0. They were a good side. So I'm looking forward to us seeing a good side. But what I'm not necessarily looking forward to is just sitting back and parking the bus. So I hope we can express ourselves. But Rooney, I mean, I'll give you a few players to talk about, Ross. Rooney, I mean, he's been very disappointing, hasn't he, lately? Lingard's obviously playing. He's been disappointing lately. Martial, I like him, but a lot of people feel he's been disappointing. Carrick, a lot of people have been saying he's past it. And Mata, as we've both said, hopefully he can have a good game. But I think there's going to be, defensively it's a strong defence, although it looks like it's a back 5. But the players in front of that are going to have to really improve on what they've been playing like lately to get anywhere against this Spurs side, because Lingard, Rooney, Martial, they're just not in form.
Yeah, the best thing Rooney's done this season is hold the ball up in the 90th minutes last Thursday. That's the best thing he's ever done. It was brilliant. But apart from that, he's absolutely useless. Big game for him today. I think every game from now on, I think from about 5 games ago, every game he's fighting for his United future, and he's ultimately failed. So he's got 2-3 games to try and turn that around, and that that's up to him. I think the way we're lining up, it's really disappointing, but obviously Tottenham play with wing backs. They play really high up wing backs. It's basically where all their attacks come from. And instead of going toe to toe with that, he's basically just consolidated and gone, I'm gonna have 2 each defender on each wing back, and I'm gonna have a back 3 as well, which is disappointing. But I think Mata, even though he's got a lack of pace, he does tend to get in behind really well because his movement's fantastic. So that's going to be the outball today with Carrick to kind of Mata or even Martial. Because Lingard, he might be able to make them runs, but like you say, he can't hold the ball up, he can't shrug anyone off. So his runs are great, but they always lead to nothing. So that's the way we're going to line up today. And I just want to say it's a big disappointment. It's obviously really sad what happened to Pogba, because I think his game would have been perfect for him, but understandably he's not going to be playing, which is correct. And I think that's a big loss for us today as well, because when you're playing counter-attacking football, you rely on ball players. And Rooney's not one anymore, so all we really have in this team to play a forward pass is Carrick.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think my lineup for this game, I did put Pogba in it on the preview. I didn't know about his dad at the time. But actually, knowing what the result has been with Liverpool and Arsenal, I think it's 100% right that I probably wouldn't have played him anyway. And certainly not with the news about his dad. I mean, just very quickly on that, how Mourinho manages these next 3 games. I know a lot of people are put off by it and like, oh, I can't be arsed and this, that and the other. But one, if you're a United fan, you're going to watch every United game that you can watch. So, slap on the bottom for that. And 2, how he manages, it's not as thankfully Manchester United fans are very good in the main, and I don't think I've heard anybody say this. We should just not play Pogba and Rashford until the final now. Keep them wrapped in cotton wool and Herrera. That's not how football works, Ross. They'll be rusty and not match fit if they don't play for 2 weeks. So how he manages them is very important over the next few games because, I mean, let's look at it positively. We spoke about Lingard and Mata and Rooney and Carrick. I mean, they're probably, well, Lingard is, but they're probably not in his first team plans for the final. But if they play well, they can force their way in. And to be honest, I'm somebody that's way form is more important to me than names. I mean, England used to pick their team on names week in, week out, and I think form's important. So whoever's the form players come a week on Wednesday, I think they should be picked because I don't think there's nobody in our team apart from 1 or 2 players like Herrera really pick themselves in that team. I don't, the Anderlechts, he might feel loyalty to the team that got us through to the final, but they didn't play particularly well on Thursday. So I think every position should be up for grabs, and that's the positive from these next 3 games. How Mourinho manages it, and who he plays where. I mean, Pogba's got to play some game. Would you play him against Palace 3 days before, or do you think the Southampton game should be his last game?
Do you know what? I looked at this earlier and had a little think. And if I was Jose, I'd probably play. He will know what team he's going to play against Ajax because it's the only game he's looking towards. And I think there's only a few people. It's quite because the defence picks itself with no Eric Bailly now. The midfield picks itself. I think the only player that can force his way in is Mata. I don't even think Martial can force his way into that, even if he has, a couple of great games come the end of the season. So I think he has to play the team that he's playing against Ajax, against Southampton, because you cannot rest players because I think you lose momentum. And you saw a little bit of that with Celta Vigo, with the fact that a lot of them players hadn't played a league game in 5 games because they just consolidated everything for the Europa League. I think you can lose massive momentum, and it's always happened to Rooney throughout his career, and you see it over the tournaments in the summer, like World Cup and stuff. Players tend to lose a bit of it. So I'd just play the exact team that we're playing against Ajax, against Southampton, and against Crystal Palace, because it's sort of, you got these 3-day gaps. Crystal Palace will be an absolute dummy team, ultimate reserves for me. And then they've got a nice 7-day break. I think that's the right amount of time. 7 days between matches should, that's how Chelsea won the league, with 7-day breaks.
I'm glad you said that. That was my next line. That's how Chelsea and Leicester won the league, with 7-day break. So 7-day break. I'm glad you said that. I mean, I don't think it needs discussing anymore. He should be picking people that he wants to use in the final against Southampton, and then that's it. Give them a week, because if they've got any knocks or strains, they can get over that. But the Palace game, it's way too risky to play anybody who's going to play in the final, to be honest. And I hope he shuts up about that, actually, because I don't know what the situation is with Ajax and how many games they've got to play. I thought I heard him say the other day they've got 2 weeks off. I actually think that's an advantage to us. If they have got 2 weeks off and we've got a couple of games to play, I think it's an advantage to us. Football's all about momentum. If we had to play against Palace to get a result, and then we've got to play on Wednesday, then that's bad, isn't it? But Southampton game could be quite interesting on Wednesday, because I think it will be an insight to who's going to play in the final, like Ross says. And then Sunday will be exciting, because hopefully he'll play a load of the kids, and we'll get to see them against the Premier League side. So I am looking forward to these next 3 games. I totally disagree with people saying that they're dead rubber games, because today it's Spurs, for me, the best footballing side in the league. Let's see what we can do. Wednesday, I think we'll see a team that's going to play in the final. And then Sunday, we're going to hopefully see a few of the young lads playing, which is really exciting. So yeah, I'm really, really positive about it. But I do get fed up by the excuses of, oh yeah, we've got to play all these games, and I was watching my DVD on Friday night, actually, of the 99 season. And we played... I think we played the FA Cup about 3 or 4 days before we went to Barcelona and played the 99 final. So that season was ridiculous. And this was... the squad was far smaller. So I think that's something that a lot of United fans see through as well. This constant excuses, which, Sir Alex was the master of it, but not to this extent about fatigue and all that. Like, it just gets a little bit boring. But Matt is definitely the player I'm looking forward to watching tonight. We gave away the Sir Bobby Charlton signed shirt on Thursday at half-time. That's been done now, but we still have the link up with Bet365, and if you fancy a bet on today's game, the link is in the video description to do that. Me and Ross always sort of give our tip on it. Obviously I know it's very difficult, but if you click that link, it will take you to this page here. Get yourself signed up, and then we want to go through to soccer, UK Sunday matches, Tottenham versus Manchester United. And straight away, you know how the bookies are going with this, because I've never seen that before, Ross. It was quite high against Arsenal, but United are 5.75 to win. So a tenner would a £10 bet on United to win would get you 60 quid. I mean, that is a sign of the times and the situation, isn't it? Bloody hell! I mean, that's a Premier League game where anything can happen, and we're Manchester United. I know Spurs have been good, but that's massive, isn't it?
That's dreadful, really. And given the fact that this, talk about dead rubber games, this is a dead rubber game for Tottenham. And like their last game at White Hart Lane and all that, which will give a bit of sentiment to mostly the fans. I think the players don't really get involved in that too much. They're professionals. It's dead rubber for them. So I have got a tip, though.
Go on, then.
It will be Harry Kane not to score. That's my tip, because I just think that he's never scored against us, and I think he'll continue that run.
Okay, I mean, my tip, I'm not going to go massive because we're coming towards the end of the season, but Manchester United to draw or Manchester United to win, 2.25. If you put a tenner on that, you get 22 back. I don't think we'll lose today. So I think it could be a draw. I think that would suit both sides, although it is the last game at White Hart Lane. But I think that's a value bet. To be honest with you, if you're feeling a little bit... I can just see Martial having a good game today. Remember, people are playing for their final place. So, 5.75 at Manchester United. There's a lot of value in that. I mean, virtually 60 quid after a £10 bet. Ridiculous. But talking about goal scorers, I always like to look at that. So goal scorers, they don't do not to score. In fact, Harry Kane is quite good value to score at any time. But I think, and look at that, Anthony Martial. I mean, that's massive as well. Anthony Martial to score at any time, 4.33. I'm having a tenner on that while you're talking next, Ross. I mean, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely huge. 43 quid off a £10 bet to get Anthony Martial to score at any time. I mean,
especially when he's the only player who's going to score for us. That is ridiculous.
Well, everybody is value. Mata is 5, so 10 wins 50 quid. Rooney is 4.33 as well. Who else have we got attack-wise? I mean, Lingard's going to be 6. So our 4 attackers, you're going to get massive money on that. So I'd go Martial to score at any time, 4.33. And whilst Ross has a chat, I'm going to put that on. Let me just read this super chat before I do that. Thanks to Orison. He says, if we win the Europa League, Mourinho will get his mojo back and the team will benefit from this. Look, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've said it a few times. If Manchester United win the Europa League, I'm going to give a massive high five to this season and just get out of Dodge, because it really is about that for me. Our whole season comes down to one game, Ross.
I know, and do you know what? Mourinho said it against about the semi-final, and it's more so about the final, about this being the biggest game. This is the biggest game I can remember for Manchester United. Not for what we win, but for where we will be if we do not win it. And I think it will be catastrophic for the club as a whole, and for our transfers and for our future.
It's back in the Europa League as well, isn't it?
Exactly, and it. I just think we just lose grip on it a bit. I think we lost grip on it when Van Gaal was here. Getting Mourinho back, we felt like we might be able to clutch it back, and we still can. But if we don't get it again, I really, really fear for us. I think, everyone was laughing about us when we didn't sort of, were out of it in our first season with Moyes, saying that we were going to be the new Liverpool. And it will worry me that would happen if we didn't get Champions League again, because we will throw money at players. we'll probably break the world transfer record again, but we won't get the calibre of players that we need. So I think this game is huge, and it probably will be the most nervous I will have ever have been watching a Manchester United game, watching this game, because I'm always confident. Even when we lost 2 years in a row to Barcelona in the final of the Champions League, I was confident that we could win them games. I wasn't nervous because there was nothing really to lose, because we already got to the final. We already surpassed every club in England. If we don't win that game, I'll just be nervous going into it. I'll be a wreck, absolute wreck.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, you know, we've spoken about it a little bit that I mean, when I looked at the start of the season, I would never have predicted. In fact, thinking how optimistic I was at the start of the season, I mean, if somebody just said to me, "You're going to finish 6th," I think I would have cried. I'd have said, "What? With Zlatan and Pogba and Mourinho managing us, you're having a laugh." I think the Europa League has just been a massive, massive get out of jail card, and we've scraped our way to the final. But it's one game. It's very much like Liverpool today, Ross. I mean, what we've just watched there. I mean, they've been very poor this season, but very lucky to be playing a team like West Ham who were crap and on the beach. But to be fair to Liverpool, they knew they had to win today, and they did win it. It's like one game will define your season, and they've turned up. We've got, and I suppose as well, it's that contrast, isn't it, of can Mourinho shake off this negative park the bus attitude that gets levelled at him? Because Liverpool today, Arsenal yesterday, they away from home, attacking teams, winning comfortably. Manchester United, one game, one final, neutral ground, although we'll have more United fans there, I guarantee you. And will he park the bus, or will he actually go and grasp this opportunity? Because I think it is... I don't want him to treat it as like, oh, let's tactically win this game. I think we should treat it as a get out of jail card that it really is.
Yeah, it is annoying, the position that we're in. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that, you know, when you're playing Liverpool, when you're playing against Liverpool's midfield, you know, to outplay them, you may get a pat on the back and that's it. Every player in midfield this season has wanted to outplay Pogba because he's the most expensive player in the world. So it becomes their biggest game of the season. Same with the goalkeepers. And pretty much every player for every team we've played against has been the highlight of their seasons, you know, scraping draws against us. You just don't get that with Liverpool. And that's because I'm not having a dig at them. It's just because they're a smaller club. You play against the bigger clubs, you tend to elevate your performance. So we have been a little bit unlucky with that, but it's not an excuse. We should have been putting these teams away. Totally our fault. And I remember, you know, I was the same as you, Mark. I thought we'd win the league come the start of the season. And I remember going into work the day after we signed Paul Pogba, and I had Arsenal fans coming up to me going, "I can't believe it, you're going to absolutely walk away with it." And that was kind of the feeling that wasn't just around United fans. Other clubs thought that as well. We signed Zlatan, we signed Pogba. They started the season, he looked like a beast, as he has all season. The transfers were perfect. Mkhitaryan was perfect, but it never really worked. And still on paper, I think, you know, the talent of Martial, Pogba's, I know Zlatan's not playing at the minute, but Zlatan and other players we should have been like second minimum, but it just didn't happen. And there was injuries, there was a bit of naivety from Mourinho, there was you know, a lot of unluckiness. I remember the lead up to Christmas, and yeah, I don't like to use it as an excuse, but we were just outdone every game by a referee. That stopped in the second half of the season, which is why we have no excuses for top four, because we haven't been outdone by a referee decision in a long time. So we've only got ourselves to blame. But going into next season, if we can build, that is just so much on that game. If we can build on what we've got now, we will be there next season. I agree with you. I think if we get Champions League, we will win the league next season.
You know what? This is it's not a contradiction. I think this season's been embarrassing, and I think tonight's show at 8:30, if you're not doing anything else, I know some of you might be watching the repeat of Country File or box set of All Creatures Great and Small or The Last of the Summer Wine. I know how Sundays roll in the UK, but if you can put anything aside, 8:30 tonight, the United Stand Sunday Night Show, it's going to be very, very honest. It's going to be very, very open, and it's been a shambles this season. I hope we're not sort of talking tonight about off the back of a drumming, because I think that will get people more angry And I don't want that. What I want is tonight is to talk about this Europa League final and how we should approach it, but also talk about this disastrous Premier League season, what the mistakes are and how we improve it. So it will be very honest, but that's what you get on the United Stand. It's passionate opinion. Don't call it negativity. It's called actually putting the club ahead of any agenda. I love Mourinho, but I have to sort of put him in a box and talk about what this season has been. So 8:30 tonight is going to be great. Get involved. But Nihal has made a contribution. He says, I've not enjoyed a single match this season. I think that's a bit over the top, Nihal, but thanks for the contribution. There are some games I've really enjoyed this season. I think we've played very, very well at times. Josh Hansen, thanks for the contribution. And Aditya says, thanks for the contribution as well. But, I think we've played good football at times this season. But I'm very, very grateful to the Europa League because otherwise we would all be sat here now going, it's in it. Well, we'll pick it up at half eight, but it's inexcusable with the squad, the size of the club we are, the manager that we've got, to not be in the top four in England is embarrassing because it's not like a year where everyone has played really, really well. Spurs have played well. Chelsea have just benefited from not having Europe. But below second, I mean, City have been pretty poor. Arsenal have lost 9 games and they're above us. Liverpool have been awful. I don't think we've been awful, Ross. I just think, I know what the problem with United is. Yeah, we've had a few decisions go our way, but you can't hide behind those. The big problem for us is just been it has to be the players. It has to be the players because it's just the amount of games we've drawn at home that we should have won. And that is the players not putting the ball in the back of the net.
Exactly, and I think it's not just the players not putting it in the back of the net. Every player is to blame for where we are. You can blame Mourinho for the negative tactics, but I said it earlier, I think that spawned from his lack of trust in a lot of the players. And he probably just, wants to protect Jones and Smalling because I think both of them are an absolute shambles. And I really, really do hope that they go in the summer. But again, just to try and be a little bit positive, keep looking at our summer transfer sort of dealings, and a lot of people are squabbling at Keane. And I think if Twanzebe can play well today, not just today, but to the rest of the season, I think that he will give Jose a big headache as to whether he does. We're going to sign a centre-back this summer, but it's whether we sign 1 or 2. I think if Twanzebe can prove himself, he needs to be elevated into not just a squad player, but actually a rotation centre-back because he showed promise in his last game. I think if he carries on, I would get on board with the not signing Keane thing. The reason why I just back the signing of Keane is because I just think he's better than Jones and Smalling, and I think we need a world-class centre-back to come in, and we also need a squad centre-back as well. And Keane just fits that bill for me, but I'd love to see him not sign him and give Twanzebe the place. But games like today, I mean, he bossed Sanchez, so see if he can boss Harry Kane, who in theory is probably one of the best strikers in the Premier League at the minute.
Well, one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, 8:30, is can Twanzebe force his way into the Europa League side? I don't want an answer now, Ross. In fact, I don't know whether you're coming on tonight. Are you coming on or not?
If there's a spot, mate.
I'll find you a spot, that's all right. I think we'll probably know more in 90 minutes whether Twanzebe can force his way back in. I mean, very quickly before I let you go and we'll get Marcus on, it's not lost on me that Fosu Mensah was ready this season. In fact, it's quite ironic that last time we played Spurs last year at White Hart Lane, he was our man of the match, Fosu Mensah. It's ridiculous that in that year that's passed, he's played barely 20 minutes. And it's hard that, the last few games he would be playing, but he's gone and done that injury. It's just typical of Fosu Mensah's season, really. But he was man of the match against White Hart Lane, against Spurs last year. I'm hoping that Fosu Mensah can do it today.
Yeah, I think it's not just Fosu Mensah, mate. I think this happens to so many of United and of young talent who have all the promise. It's happened with Luke Shaw as well. I mean, every time it seems like he's going to get a run in the team because of injuries, because of this, because of that, it all just goes wrong. There's always an injury, and it's so frustrating. But then, do you know what? Sometimes you get a little bit of luck out of it, and look, I think Fosu Mensah is always going to be in our squad plans because I think he's that good. I think we have seen Twanzebe less if Fosu Mensah was fit. So look, there's always a positive because one of our best players at the minute, Rashford, come come through an unfortunate batch of injuries, and I think that's what's happening with Twanzebe, which is interesting because, we said that Jose wouldn't probably play him this season because he doesn't play youth, and it seems like he's been forced into it again. I would have liked to have seen what he would have done today with a fully fit team, because I don't think if he had every player available, regardless if this is dead game or not, we wouldn't see Fosu or Twanzebe, which is annoying to know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go and get comfortable for the game. Are you going to pop on at half time?
Yes, I'll be on at half time, mate.
Cool. I didn't ask you for a score prediction, actually.
Do you know, I can't really give one. I'll probably just say 0-0. I can't see. I just don't know. I really don't know. I do not know how this game's going to go. Still don't know how we're going to line up. So for the first time, I'm not going to give one.
Yeah, well, obviously, based on the great odds you can get United to win, I'm not going to go for United win. I was going 2-1 to Spurs. I think it's going to go one or two ways. I think we'll defend really well and it'll be a draw, probably 1-1, or I think we'll get hammered. So I'm going to go with a draw. I don't know why I'm laughing. It'll be horrible and painful to watch. But let's just keep it in a box. It's the Premier League. Our Premier League season has been horrible. Horrible. But I've got to be honest, since the Liverpool game's finished, I felt a lot better. It was just absolutely killing me watching them do what they've just done. But I feel a lot better now, so thanks for that. But I'll see you at half-time, Ross. And I do think it's going to be an interesting game. You can follow Ross at Hazza90 at Twitter. But has he gone?
No, I'm still here, but
I think there's a lot to be positive about in these next three games, and I'm looking forward to this game now. It was a one-off game. I was saying it before, people are being negative, but when July hits and we're off to the US tour and we're doing the watchalongs at 3 o'clock in the morning, I guarantee everyone will be getting up to watch it, even though it's a meaningless pre-season game. This is a Premier League game with a couple of weeks before a Europa League final. It's interesting. If you love Manchester United and you love what they're all about, this is brilliant because it's like, we're building towards a final. Let's see if players can find form. Let's see if players can force their way in. So there's a lot to watch. It's just disappointing that the Premier League campaign's been shambles.
Yeah, and just before I go, because you haven't plugged it at all since I've been on air, drop the video a like, everyone, guys. But if you love the United stand, because it's slowly becoming the biggest fan channel that United have, so it's fantastic. And I'll see you at half time, Mark.
Cheers, Ross. I'll speak to you in a moment.
Cheers, mate.
I don't know what Mourinho's saying, but he's talking at the moment. Aditya says, it's not, for a start, he's made a contribution of 400, and I'm not very good on currencies, but it's not £400. Obviously, we get people all around the world making contributions, and we really appreciate that. I know if you follow gamers on Twitch, you can obviously contribute to your favourite gamers, and YouTube have opened that up to YouTubers, so you can contribute to the United Stand, and it's fully appreciated, and it's great that you appreciate the hard work that we do, providing with you a lot of content. But Aditya says, Ajax have already qualified for Champions League next year, irrespective of what happens in the finals. If we get the runners-up medal, do we still get a spot for the Champions League? If not, who should get that slot? Good question, Aditya. Basically he's saying, look, Ajax have won their league, so they're in the Champions League. Does that mean that the runners-up in the Europa League would get their slot? Now, I think there's a lot of value in that, and I think it should be a rule, but it isn't. That spot, as I understand it, if we'd already got Champions League football as well through winning the Premier League and we won the Europa League, it wouldn't go to Ajax. It just goes back into the melting pot for the Europa League. Or it would go to somebody in England. But I don't think it doesn't come to us. It doesn't come to us because we'd all know about that. Mad Marcus will be joining me in a moment. But before Mad Marcus joins me, I just want to say, echo what Ross just said there. Please do drop a like on the video. We can't do this without you on the watch-alongs. And please subscribe to the channel. We've gone past 86,000 today, which is massive for us. The channel will balloon over the summer, not in relation to, what I'm saying is we are live twice a day at the moment, 8:30 every night and 7 a.m. in the morning with the transfer daily. That will go on all through the summer. So if you found us just for the watch along, there's loads going on. And what I must shout out, although we are live tonight at 8:30 with the Sunday show, and it's going to be a great show, don't forget the biggest growing show on the channel, 8:30 on a Monday, Skype Goldbridge, where you Skype in and you set the tone. Last week's show was amazing. I'm sure it'll be the same again. So if you want to have your say, Skype Goldbridge tomorrow night at 8:30 as well. This is my favourite bit of the watch-along. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is as well. And I'll give you some shout-outs. Because everyone goes on about Manchester United and, we're not a big club and that. Well, we've got the biggest global support in the world. And we're just about to confirm and evidence that. So let us know where you're watching from. Rude 9 the Masters in Egypt. Rude 9 the Masters not. He's in South Africa now. That was a quick flight. Feyenoord won the league, says Vazzy, but they've qualified for the Champions League is the whole point. Good atmosphere at Spurs. Final game at White Hart Lane. It makes me feel sad in a way because White Hart Lane's always been the ground that Spurs have played at all my life. So it's sad when they move, but at least they're staying very close to it. In fact, part of the new stadium is part of that, isn't it? It's 8:30 in the morning in Pakistan. We've got Belfast, we've got Greece. Let me get back. Northern Ireland for Elemental Pride. Flashburn 52 is in Whitehaven, Cumbria. Linus is in Sweden. We're quite, Sweden. Big out to Sweden. We're there in a couple of weeks, aren't we, in Stockholm? But the United, there's a very big Manchester United community in Sweden. So Linus, keep spreading the word. You're all welcome. Scandinavian fans, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We know we've got a lot of you watching from Norway as well. So big shout out for those. Terry, Singapore, 11:30. Hello, Terry. Massive in Asia, Manchester United as well, obviously, and Africa, and South America, and obviously North America, Europe as well. Massive club. Greece, Sakis Sap. Gabriel's also in Singapore. The Masters in London. Edwards in Wales. It's Sweden as well. Live chat is buzzing, says Norma. It always is. We've got Iraq, we've got Jamaica, we've got Ireland. Big out to Ireland. United States. Benjamin, Norway, yeah. China, South Africa, Norway, Mauritius, Warsaw. Mauritius to Warsaw. Waterford Island, lovely place. New Jersey, and it's 11:24 in the morning for Jordan Thompson. United will win this game, says IAQ. And New Jersey, Bury. United about to come out. St. Lucia in Caribbean. I've got to give them a shout out as well. Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Lucia, everywhere in the Barbados as well. In that area, my geography's rubbish, but you know what I mean. Lots of Manchester United support there. Just spread the word about Manchester United wherever you are. I mean, spread the word about United Stand as well, but spread the word about Manchester United. I don't care who they are. We want to grow the United Army all around the world. We are the biggest. We want to be the biggest, and we are the biggest. California for Brendan Tombo, but it's lovely there. We crave some hot weather here. It's very overcast and then sunny here today. Egypt is Northeast Africa, says the United Stand. I know. Did I say I didn't? We're going to win today. Namibia, Austria, Mexico, Stepney, Mexico. I would love us to sign Hirving Lozano. He would be one of my signings of the summer. We need some natural width, and Lozano would be perfect. I quite like the look of Bruma from Galatasaray as well, but we definitely need some width. Huge United fan base in Greece, says Sakis Sap. Great, spread the word over there. We'll take Greece. Malta, not far from Greece. All these lovely climates are making me feel jealous because I could do with a nice sunny holiday. I'm not getting away anywhere this year. Rude 9 the Master, bigging up the United Stand. Thanks for that. Remember to drop a like on the video, everybody. I'm going to get Marcus on now. Sorry if you don't like him, but it's part of the contract. I'm only joking. I like Marcus. But yeah, thanks for everybody letting us know where you're watching from. Obviously, get interacting with each other. The match isn't far away. I need to sort the timeline out as well. Marcus, can you hear me?
Hi, pal. You all right?
I'm good. Anything you want to tell me off about, or have I been good for the last hour?
No, you've done your job well, mate.
What's your thoughts on the game?
Oh, well, going by the lineup, mate, I think I don't like to be negative, but I don't see United winning this one.
It's interesting, just to cut you up there, because they're putting up the team in front of us, and they've actually got Twansibi in the midfield with Carrick, with Blind at left back, Jones at right back, Bay and Smalling, Martial up front, Rooney on the left, Lingard on the right, and Mata at 10. I don't think Twansibi's playing in the midfield, but that would be quite interesting.
It would be. It's a different option for him, isn't it? I mean, Mourinho's probably trying to experiment with him and find out where his best position is. We know he can play centre back. He played, I think it was right back against Arsenal. Dealt with Alexis Sanchez quite well. So today, if he's in the centre defensive midfield with Carrick, be good options for him. Experience as well, playing different.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just sorting a couple of things out. What's your score prediction?
Oh, well, I think it's either going to be a 2-2 draw, or I think we're going to get a little bit of a battering.
I would hope we don't get a battering. Obviously, one, because I'm a Manchester United fan, but two, there's a few players in that team today that, I pretty much think Mourinho is going to pick Lingard in the final, and I think that's just suicide. I also think he'll pick Fellaini, which is less suicide, but my concern about Fellaini is that just how good a footballing side Ajax are and how quick they move the ball around, he'll get bypassed, and that's a concern from a tactical sense point of view. So I want us to play well today, because I really want Mata to play well, Twansebe. To be honest, any of them, if some of these players can find some form now, because he might have loyalty to that team that got us to the final, but we weren't that good in that game. In fact, we were one kick away from being knocked out. So if people can play well, I'm all for that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm of the opinion that he should use these last few games to see who can be trusted for the final. The team that he put out against Arsenal, the players that were there, didn't really do him justice. So, some of these players have got a second chance today to see whether they can do the job and not be overawed by the occasion, I suppose. If
you're Wayne Rooney, it's more than your second chance. He's had so many chances. He's been pretty poor. He did play well against Burnley away, but he was poor against Arsenal. Right, we're off. Kickoff's off. Timer should be up. No, it isn't, because I haven't ticked the button, but I have started it, so let me sort that out. And first things first, let's have a look. Twansebe is playing central, so Sky obviously had that right. Be interesting to see how that goes. He's getting football, isn't he? Just shows you that Fosu Mensah would have played if he'd have been fit.
Well, yeah, that's a crying shame, that is. Would have loved to see him playing this game. He did well in the game for Van Gaal, was it? He was man of the match against Spurs.
This very game, so
I think for this game he's quite a big miss, in the grand scale of things. But quite confident that Twansebe can do a job in there.
Yeah, to be honest, I like the lineup. To be honest, Martial up front on his own, Rooney to the left, Mata is a number 10, Lingard on the right, and obviously you've got Twansebe and Carrick as a midfield two, and then Phil Jones is playing centre back, so I presume it might be Bailly. He might have done quite. I can't see who's the right back at the moment, but if he's played, he's playing Bailly at right back. No, he's not. No, he's not. Yeah, he is. Yeah. So that's a very clever thing to do, because obviously Bailly's going to miss the final, so it's right that he plays the next 3 games because he's experienced, but he can't play centre back in the final. So it's a very clever thing for Mourinho to do, to actually play Jones and Smalling at centre back, because maybe he's thinking about doing that in the final, because Darmian was poor in the Celta Vigo game, so you could always play Blind at left back. So this is the brilliance about these next 3 games. It gives him a lot of time to try things about.
Let's not forget earlier in the season as well that Smalling and Jones had that run of games where they did do quite well. I think it was Phil Jones's longest string of games, wasn't it? It was about 8, 9, 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
And they did quite well. For the opposition that we had, but Bailly's going to be a huge miss for the final. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we'll pick this up tonight. Lots to talk about. I think it'll be a very heated show. And we can carry it on tomorrow night on the Skype Goldbridge. If there's anything when you're watching tonight you want to bring up, then take some notes and Skype in tomorrow. But it's going to be a very to-the-point show tonight, because I think there are a few home truths, and the Premier League season has been disappointing. But I am very excited about what we're going to see in this game, and what we're going to... Spurs are, for me, the best footballing side we've played in the Premier League this year. So there will be no quarter given. And someone like Juan Mata's just got to have a good game. I think he's so important.
Yeah, definitely. Mata as well, want to get him back to full fitness before the final. He was, I think, an important person not to be involved in the game against Celta Vigo.
Yeah.
So I think it's vitally important for us to get his fitness back up to the levels that he should be.
And to be fair, you know, people moan, I've moaned through the season, why isn't Martial not playing this, that and the other? These players are going to get an opportunity. So whether it's to play in the final or actually stay next season, people have got to grasp these opportunities. Well done, Phil Jones, gets rid of it. Yeah. But just read some of the comments. Jason CR says, lineup is shocking. How can you say you're happy with it? I'm going to throw it back to you, Jason, and everyone on the live comments. What changes would you actually make to that lineup? Pogba can't play. Valencia's been left at home as well because apparently he's very tired, which we've known for the last few weeks. Rashford's obviously being given a rest. I think he'll probably play on Wednesday. Herrera the same. So, you know, you look at the bench, there's not a lot else he can do. But maybe I'm missing something. Keane's on about Rooney losing 600 grand gambling. I've read that a couple of times now. I don't know what that's all about. This is smart, says David, testing Jones and Smalling. Yeah, I agree. I think he's got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the squad, we might have a big squad, but it's not big on quality. You know, not by any stretch of the imagination. So I think for him to do this today, to try out people in different positions, is a very smart and tactical way to go about it.
Yeah, I agree. Some people are asking why I put my glasses on. Sometimes my eyes get tired, so I'll just have them on for half an hour. 5 minutes in, though. Spurs are on the attack at the moment.
A couple of people say the glasses are an improvement.
Disbelief, typical, isn't it? I'm here to be had a go at. Ryuk's not happy that Liverpool won. No, we'll be talking about that later. Anthony Martial is a good player, but he doesn't run enough. I hardly see the guy taking anyone anymore. He's very lazy. Rashford puts him to shame, says Tyrone. But maybe he's been told not to do that. He's a very different player to what he was last year.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, that's probably the difference in the managers, isn't it? I think different way they want their players to play.
1-0 to Spurs. Too easy. Yeah. Way too easy.
Yeah, I was,
just a simple cross into the box.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I think this is going to be a long afternoon.
I was going to say, Wanyama as well. As long as Harry Kane doesn't score, I'll be happy. But that's just that's very, very weak-minded. It's Rooney at fault.
Well, we know these players aren't good enough, don't we? So, I mean, what else can the guy do? He's got to give the players a rest who he wants in the final.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I never expected us to win today. I thought a draw at best, and I was very fearful of a hammering. And the way the game started, I think it's going to be a long afternoon.
I mean, you know what? I watched that goal back, and 5 minutes in to go 1-0 down is very disappointing, way too easy. But ultimately, it just comes down to one player's mistake, and that's been, whether it's missing chances in front of, you know, it's reciprocal. You know, a missed chance from 5 yards out in the first 5 minutes against Burnley by Zlatan back in November, and then we draw the game 0-0. That's as bad as what Rooney's just done there. It's just individual errors that ruin what the team's trying to do. I mean, Rooney's just shocking on that. It's totally his fault. He's got to deal with it. Wanyama's not well known for being in the air, for being very good in the air. Individual mistakes, but it makes it very difficult for us now because the game plan that Mourinho would have had goes out the window because of one mistake. Matters miles offside there, but yeah. I mean, Wanyama just bullies Rooney. I never thought I'd hear those words back a few years ago, but it's just, I don't know what's happened to the bloke. I really don't know. Jarug says he's done. Well, yeah, you're spot on. Orison's just made a contribution. Can the Premier League end already?
I wish.
We wish, but no.
Do you think De Gea could have done more?
I mean, Rooney's going to go in the book here. He's just had a ridiculously bad start. He's not going to go in the book, actually. But I feel sorry for Rooney. He's just so off the pace in everything he does. Remadou thinks we're going to get slaughtered.
I agree with that. I do. I think this has got a 3-4-0 all over it.
Well, I tell you what, that is the worst thing that could happen, because the one thing I was going to say in relation to Orison there, or can this season just end already? Look, the Premier League, and we're talking about this at 8:30, is it needs to be discussed. It's if somebody said to me at the start of the season we were going to finish 6th with the players we've signed, the manager we've got, and the club we are, it's disgraceful, and I think that needs speaking about, because I think people are just sort of brushing it under the carpet because we're in a final. But I don't want the Premier League season to end, because I think we're form-wise, we're a long way off being able to go and beat Ajax in the final. And these 3 games are essential. I know from a points perspective it's not really going to make a lot of difference, but from a games perspective it's really important that we build some form, even if it's not as a team, as players play their way into form, so that when we're in that final we've got some options and we've got some players in form. That's why these 3 games are important, because I think if we were playing Ajax on Wednesday, I'll be terrified. So that's why I think these 3 games are really important, because players need to grasp the opportunity. Unfortunately, because we've got to rest players and that, you end up with someone like Wayne Rooney, who I just think is a weak link now. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence, but he's just... I've never seen, and I've been watching football for 3 decades now, I have never seen a player decline so quickly as this. I think, there's a lot of... I respect you all. There's a lot of Manchester United fans out there who love Wayne Rooney, and I think everybody has sort of come round to that. Even those fans now. It's just, and you shouldn't feel bad about backing Rooney. I have never seen a decline like it. It is unprecedented, really unprecedented. It's been massively fast.
Yeah, it's an amazing transformation of a player that was so good in his heyday. That's, the last 3-4 seasons he's just gone down.
He's overweight as well. I mean, looking at him, he's overweight. And I don't think that's necessarily his fault now. I think he's a bloke in his 30s, and his genetics are, if you look at his family...
it's just an evolution of it.
Yeah, it's evolution. That's what he is. I think to be trim, he would have to be down the gym 3 or 4 hours a day. And, is he going to do that? 300 grand a week? He's not. But...
well, I mean, people in the comments saying, well, we're 1-0 down, let's just defend that. But we don't want to defend that. We're saying we want Manchester United to attack and free-flowing football. So, you can't have it both ways, I'm afraid.
No, you got to show a bit of fight. I mean, this game may mean nothing, but as a Manchester United fan, I'm sure you're all like me and Marcus now. I'm like, come on, lads, let's get back in this game. I want to celebrate a goal. I want us to win this game. Let's show them what we've got. And let's not forget, I don't want us to get beat 3 or 4-0. We've got people like Twansibi playing here today, and Mata, very important players. Let's, I want Mata to play in the final. Let's go and do a job.
I mean, it's their last game at the Lane as well, so they're going to be up for it. They don't want to remember
Rooney's last game at the Lane, at White Hart Lane, in a United shirt. I would imagine. I mean, it doesn't matter what. Mourinho's been quite good the way he's handled Rooney. I'll be amazed if he's here in the summer anyway, because Mourinho started to deal with that problem very early on in the season. But he just hasn't got the legs.
No, but I mean, Spurs, looking at it from Spurs' point of view, they're not going to want to remember their last game here being a loss, or disappointing performance. So even though they've got nothing to play for in the league now, I still expect them to play a decent game, and they have. I mean, the first 5 minutes we're 1-0 down. That tactics goes out the window straight away from our point of view, and now we're chasing the game, which is going to leave us open to counter-attacks. So,
of course, I should have just mentioned this before the game as well. Manchester United are quite heavily linked to Eric Dyer, who's playing for Spurs, so you might want to keep an eye on him. But Harry Kane's an interesting one. Never scored against Manchester United. I know a lot of United fans would like us to sign Harry Kane. He falls into the Lukaku category for me. I think if you can't turn up against us, then why would I want you to come and play for us? I know he scored against a lot of other teams, but Manchester United, we seem to be able to deal with him very easily every time we play him. So you should always look at a player like that and go, well, if we can deal with him, then why would we want him at our club? Because in the bigger games, is he going to go missing? And I think he does. Think about the Euros, you think about Champions League and Europa League this year. He's not been very good in it. He reminds me of Lukaku a lot. I think Lukaku's the better option, though. Harry Kane, I just think he's a bit of a flat track bully, but he'll probably score a hat-trick now.
Well, I think the way we started the game and the way the defence is, I wouldn't put it past him to score today, and put that myth to bed. I really do. But judging how we started, how we're playing, how we're set up, I think our record of not scoring against the top clubs will still be there.
Oh yeah, of course, that's a very good point. We've not scored against any of the top 6 clubs away
Well,
from
I
home
mean,
this
we
season.
beat Chelsea, didn't we, 2-0 at Old Trafford?
No, away from home though, we haven't.
Oh,
We haven't scored an away goal against the top 6 this season, which doesn't do Mourinho any favours when people say he's a negative manager. But there we go. I've changed the score begrudgingly to 1-0.
A lot of people asking where you got the glasses from, Mark.
Why do they like them?
They look, well, they must do if they're asking.
Let's have a look. They're John Smedley.
Oh.
There we go. Not the NHS.
Oh.
I have to wear them when I'm at work for computer work, but I just very rarely wear them. But I've had really tired eyes lately, so it helps me. So thanks everybody for the positivity, because it's nice to wear them. Roma Dude says Mark Rooney's decline is his own fault because he does not take care of himself. You're spot on. I didn't really want to mention that, but there's a very good comment from a few years ago from a fitness coach at Manchester United who said that Rooney just wouldn't put the work in the fitness area. Ronaldo was more than happy to do it down the gym, but Rooney just wanted to play football. He didn't want to do the fitness work, and it catches up with you then. I think everybody just thinks, Marcus, that just because Giggs played till he was 40 and Scholes played into his late 30s, and obviously Carrick's in his mid 30s, and Zlatan, they just assume that footballers are going to do that all the time now. But if you don't look after yourself, your career will be finished by your early 30s. And a lot of footballers still do and are finished in their early 30s.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, you got to look after your body now. There's a lot said about diets and fitness programs and health regimes and all that. And I think all these players now that want to keep on bringing in the money and playing at the top level, I think by the time they hit the late 20s, they got to really start focusing on their body and knuckling down if they want to prolong their career. So, you usually find a lot of players give up the international duty, don't they, to prolong their club careers. So, I mean, that's another thing with Rooney. He's still involved with England, albeit not much, but he's still involved with it.
Yeah, because England was important to him to get that goals record, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Deece TV's made a contribution. Thanks for that. He says, I wish Zlatan and Rooney could switch age. Imagine. Yeah. Well, Zlatan's back in the gym with a plaster on his knee. Unbelievable. Yeah. He's done his knee like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's something we're going to talk about tonight as well. Should Zlatan be sold? He could be back. It'd be ridiculous if he's back before Christmas. But to be back in the gym with a plaster on your knee is unbelievable after major knee surgery. So be interested to see what the prognosis is with him, because if he could get back for like October, I probably would keep him.
Well, that's the difference in the mentality, though, between the two. You've got one who wants to come back and still wants to carry on playing, and then you've got another who just, I mean, basically just don't give a shit, does he, really?
No.
And, sorry to be blunt, but, I mean, that's the way it is.
Tyrone, I don't know. I can't even read the comment out. I mean, I don't think there's any genetic medical reason behind this. But he says Ryan Giggs played into his late 30s because he's half black. It's also helped that he was lucky with injuries, had the right body shape, and looked after his fitness. I presume you're joking, Tyrone, because I've never seen anything about ethnicity having anything to do with fitness. Maybe I'm wrong, but Totti is playing for Roma, isn't he? Martial, ooh, just wide, good effort.
Well, at least he's made the goalie try and do something,
To be honest, it's a good ball by Rooney. He finds the width, and Martial just inside the box. It's not a bad effort. He does quite well there. It would be a hell of a finish to beat Lloris from the edge of the box.
20 minutes in, that's the first thing our captain's done.
Yeah.
It's sorry, but it's not good enough for me. Not good enough.
Well, to be honest, I was just going to say it before that comment from Tyrone. I never wanted this to happen with Rooney, but my attitude with him now is I just want him gone from the club, because I think, and that people can say that's horrible, but he's tarnishing his reputation. He's done fantastic things at Manchester United, But now he's frustrating fans because he's just not good enough. And he needs to go this summer, because otherwise it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And you don't want a player who's done so much to be ruining that reputation.
But it's also these players, these average players that are holding us back as a team.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the talent, the flair players, the wingers, the wide players. We don't have them sort of players anymore. And that's not Jose's fault. That's the fault of, the last three seasons.
Yeah.
So, Mourinho can only put his tactics in the team for the players that he's got. There's no point saying to players, to people like Rooney or Mata, who's not very quick, if they're playing out in the wide, right, try and beat your man, get to the byline and get a ball in. It's not going to happen.
It's a great save there from De Gea. Yeah. And wide.
But again, we're under the cosh again, man. What is the defence doing here? I don't know about you, Mark, but Smalling just looks lost here these first 20 minutes.
I think they all do. They're just cutting through.
What's going on? It's just like they've given up already. There was a comment there. Gordon Strachan played till he was 40 years old and he wasn't black.
Yeah, I think Tyrone might have been creating a bit of a joke. There's a comment here for Super Chat from Danish. He says, in a way, we're playing with 7 defensive players and 2 of our attackers are Lingard and Rooney. I can't see us winning this game. We set ourselves up to park the bus. I've just tweeted something very similar, Danish. Thanks for the contribution. Another game, Twan Seaby is basically man marking Eriksen, as a few of you've noticed in the last few minutes. And we are basically parking their bus. I mean, is that what Manchester United now are under Jose Mourinho? Because I said it before. He won't get away with this. He will not get away with it. He could well win the Premier League next year, but he won't get away with playing this way. United fans will not stand it. It's just not how we do things. And
from what I can see,
I mean, I thought the man marking against Hazard was a really clever one-off bit of brilliance. But when you start doing it more and more, man marking ended years ago. People stopped man marking players a long time ago. And the brilliance of doing it against Chelsea was that nobody expected it and it worked a treat. But when you start doing it all the time, you're basically setting your team up because you're in fear of the other opposition, and that's never been United's way.
No, but I mean, look at the team that's out there. From what I can see, we've got 2 flair players in there. Martial and Mata.
Kane's just put Jones on his arse.
Yeah. This is embarrassing.
It just comes down. You said it yourself, though, Marcus. This comes down to the fact that the players are just not good enough. They're not good enough. So, I refuse to blame Mourinho for the fact that we have handed top 4 to Liverpool on the plate. Liverpool are a rubbish side. We've just dropped double points, nearly 20 points, by not finishing teams off at home. Poor teams at home. Well, Mourinho can't put the number 10 shirt on and go and score himself. He's picking the players to do that. And if we'd put the chances away this season, we would comfortably be in the top 4. Like this goal conceded today, it comes down to individual error. I mean, it's just poor performance. And I find it baffling. I mean, Kane's just nearly scored his first goal for Spurs against United there from another cross. Hits the bar. But this is, if you're a United player, Marcus, there's a final in a week and a half. This is our reserves, but you could play your way in. You could have a 10 out of 10 game and play your way in. And nobody seems to have the appetite to do it.
No, because a lot of these players, I think some of these players already know they're out the door. I really do. And I think they know that their performances this season haven't been good enough to stay in Jose's plans, else they would have been starting game in, game out. So I think they know their time's up and they're basically just there collecting the money now till the end of the season. I mean, I hate to say it, but Rooney, what has he done? Apart from that pass to Martial, like a couple of minutes ago, what has he done? Absolutely nothing. Smalling is diabolical as defender.
I always hated Laurel and Hardy, and unfortunately we're watching it at the back for United at the moment with Jones and Smalling. I mean, that's the scary thing. We need to find a centre-back to play with Blind. And
it's... Well... Jones and Smalling, I mean, the form they showed earlier in the season is absolutely. This is a shambles at the minute.
James Solent says Mark contradicts himself. He states we deserve top four, but says we are rubbish. If you can find a clip where I said we deserve top four, I will happily backtrack. But I've not said we deserve top four. I've said we should have top four based on the amount of chances we've blown away. We don't deserve top four, but we've handed it on a plate to whoever gets top four because we've missed so many chances. Jose should go. This is unacceptable for the fans, says Paul Thompson. You've got to give him another summer, Paul. If we're playing this way next season, then I would have to start agreeing with that. But
only playing. Oh,
go on.
Sorry.
His four signings, Bailly, Zlatan, Pogba, and Mkhitaryan, have been good. They've certainly been better than a lot of what he's inherited. He needs another summer. If he sticks with Lingard and Fellaini and whoever else, Rooney next year, then it's on him. If he gets rid of those players from the first team and buys 3 or 4 players to come in to complement what he's already done, then I think we'll see a different United. But I don't think you can blame Mourinho this year.
I think we're only playing this way because of the players. These players just can't hack it in the Premier League no more. These players aren't up to the level and the standard that Mourinho wants at Manchester United. We can say Smalling was good last season because, as you keep on saying, Mark, there was 2 midfielders in front of him. You know, this season there's only been one, and he's been shown to be what a class clown he is. Jones has been Jones again. He had, like I said earlier, a good run of 8-9 games with Smalling in the back, then gets injured again. Then they start saying that they can't get back from injury, they can't get back for the team, they're not fit enough, you know. And then they come in, and this is how they play. This is how they respond to our manager calling them out and saying, basically, the team needs you. The defence is on its last legs. We need you back. And this is how they repay him, playing like this and playing like they did at Arsenal. Absolutely shambolic, and I think it's a disgrace. It really is. Some of these players in here, they're just there for the money. They really are. They are average players at best. Lingard, Rooney, Ashley Young, Smalling, Jones, Fellaini, possibly Darmian. You know, that's 7 off the top of my head, right? If Zlatan goes, 8. If De Gea goes, 9.
He won't get rid of that many. That's the scary thing.
I know. Yeah, I know. But these players, they're not even good squad players.
What? 25, 26 minutes into this game, and if you're asking me who's played their way even into his thoughts about playing in the final, well, the only one is De Gea, and he's already said he's not playing. That's the bloody ridiculous thing. They've, you know, there's nobody showing us anything. Ali is back. He's made a contribution. Thank you, pal. He says, cheers, nice glasses, Mark. We've got to clean out the dead wood, which I think we'd all agree with that. Patrick Boyle saying, come on, Jose sets up the tactics. Bay's just gone down hurting his knee, which we'd all be breathing heavily about, I think,
if he was playing in the final, I'd worry. But I'm not.
No. Should be a yellow card, though.
Yeah, we know he's not going to get rid of these many players, but these are the players that are overhyped, overage, too much money, and not playing for the shirt. So get lost. If you're not going to play and respect the badge, out you go. We'll get someone in who's more hard-working than you. The amount of players that would love to come to Manchester United for 100,000, 200, even 300,000 a week is endless. We don't need these players. But, that's 9 players I listed off there. That's near enough a whole team.
Yeah, I know.
And this is how bad. People will say, yeah, our squad's big. We've got a massive squad. But we haven't got a squad on quality. It's absolute garbage. And we've got a captain here who just isn't doing nothing. Where's the fight?
They're just going through the motions, aren't they?
Yeah.
They should actually be seeing it as an opportunity to put themselves in the shop window for the final. And
No, this is our captain as well. Should be working, absolutely sweating his nuts off to get in that team for the Europa League final.
Well, he probably is. He's just not got the ability.
Exactly, yeah. And you just think to yourself, where is it? Where's the passion? Where's the fight? There is none from him. Because he's probably thinking about what his round's going to be in after the game when he's in the pub.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I get the frustration. Well, up to Anzibi, just across there from Spurs.
There's no room for sentimentality in this game, mate. Get him out. Get him out.
Oh, you're the one who wants to play Romero in the final.
Yeah, but what's Romero? Romero hasn't done anything wrong in Europa League. De Gea's played 2 or 3 games in Europa League.
Yeah, but De Gea's better.
Maybe.
So there's no room for sentimentality. You said it in the last minute.
Yeah, there's no room for sentimentality. That's not sentimentality, though. Having Romero play in the Europa League because that's where Romero has played. I'm not saying he's the better keeper. But if he's played in Europa League, then let him continue. You shouldn't let a goalie come in just because he's better. You shouldn't let a goalie just have a last swan song and have a trophy if he's going off to Madrid. Why should he? He can play in the home game against Palace if he wants to say goodbye.
Well, to be honest, I don't blame De Gea for wanting to go. I don't.
Oh, not playing like this, no.
He wants to go back to Spain, which is his prerogative. He's been at this club for the last 3 years and done. He must be bored of it. He must be bored of playing in a side that's just not good enough, and he's battling for 5th. I mean, we've not finished in the top 4 3 out of the last 4 years now. I mean, that's abysmal from Manchester United. And our man of the match by a country mile at the moment is David De Gea. And that says everything. We're taking a step backwards today. We're going back to the Van Gaal days. In fact, we've been going back to the Van Gaal days for about a month now. The football's been crap, and we've been lucky and overly defensive.
So we've had 3, but within those years, we've had the same set of players, really. Right? Even Van Gaal's last season, he brought in, the Martials and, whoever else and that. And they've, I'm not saying they flopped, but they've not been as good as we had hoped. And that's not because of Mourinho's tactics this season. Martial was the one standout player last season with De Gea. But again, we'll go back. Where was our captain?
Well, he's not been a captain anyway. I've been quite critical about that for a couple of years. He's just not a captain. He's a very influential player in the dressing room because of what he's achieved in his career, but he's not a captain on the pitch by a long way. 1983 Lone Ranger, I've been wanting to say this for a while. He says, these players just don't care. I mean, is that a fair thing to say? I think Juan Mata cares. I think Eric Bailly cares. I think Axel Twanzebe obviously cares. He's just starting out his career. I think Michael Carrick cares. I think Wayne Rooney cares. I just think Carrick and Rooney are at the back end of their career and they're mind willing, body not giving. Jones and Smalling, I think there's question marks over how much they care. You could even say again about Anthony Martial, how much does he care? He's been publicly derided all season. Does he really care about this manager anymore? I don't know. In fact, Conzi just said it. Martial's disheartened because he's been dropped and treated badly all season. Which some people will say, oh, no, you can't say that. But I was saying to Ross before the game, another crap performance from Lingard here so far. Never gets anything. Never gets anything negative said about him. Despite, I can't remember the last time he played well. He played quite well when I went to watch him play against Chelsea at Old Trafford. Apart from that, he's been poor since Christmas. Never gets any criticism. There was a pass through to Mata there that Rooney just... I mean, I can't believe he can't see it.
You won't get no criticism, mate, because he's come through the youth thing, isn't he? He's just signed a new contract.
He's infuriatingly bad. I know some people like him, and as a squad player, he's here to stay. And as a bench player, I don't necessarily have a massive problem with that. But as a first teamer, He's worse than Tom Cleverley, and I'm not saying that Tom Cleverley wasn't actually a terrible player for Manchester United. He was just not a Manchester United player for me, but he's a better player than Lingard.
Well, I think Lingard will be the harder working person, but he's not first team material.
No. And I don't understand that. We were talking about that in the preview. Like somebody was saying, "Oh, what would you do if you had a chat with Jose?" And I think that would be one of the first things. I'd put that before even talking to him about Fellaini. To be honest, because I can see what Fellaini brings to the team, but I don't like what he brings because he's too slow and he's got no first touch and he's very easy to get past because of his lack of pace. But I can see why he's used because of his height. But Lingard, I don't get it. I really don't get what he brings to the team. He's not particularly fast. He gets knocked off the ball like a girl. His creativity is poor. I don't get it. As a bench option, yeah, fine, but not as a first teamer. And that is why we are battling for 5th place every season, because we've got too many players who are not Manchester United players in the mould of we've come accustomed to.
No, there's that saying of not being Manchester United quality. I think half these players playing now, you can tell they're not.
Thanks for that comment, Murphy TV. He says, "Mark, I like your streams. You are 200% honest about the team, unlike that other lot who says play good when they really aren't. No disrespect to them, but you are better." Thanks for that. But you lot make this show the best show, this channel the best channel. That's why we have the live comments up, because it's very interactive with what people are doing, and we try to sort of, if you don't get read out, it doesn't mean you don't get read, and those points come into our head to sort of prompt a conversation. I don't think I always make that very clear, but I do read a lot of what you're saying, and it does prompt me to start saying things.
There's a good comment here to me from someone called Troll. He says, "I'm talking
Sounds
nonsense."
like it's going to be great from a troll.
Yeah. He says, I'm talking nonsense. The players have let Mourinho down, but the buck stops with Mourinho. He hasn't been good enough in all areas, e.g. motivation, tactics and lineup." Well, I'll ask you a question then, Troll. What tactics and motivation would you give this overrated squad to beat the top 4 sides? Because they can't run, they can't fight.
I think the only motivation to wear a Manchester United shirt, and Roy Keane would say this, and Brian Robson would say this, is the badge on the bag, on the shirt.
Well, this is it, and the players just ain't doing it no more. Just because they're from Manchester or they're born on the pitch or whatever it is,
Rooney's
yeah,
going in the book now, about bloody time. He's just so far off the pace, it's embarrassing.
That's all that guy's got anymore at football, is mouth. That's all it is. That's the only thing he can do on the pitch now, is open his mouth to the referee, get a yellow card so it looks as though he's doing something.
He'll get sent off. His head's gone. I mean, I don't know what people are on about, this gambling and the drinking we've had this season. I don't want to say there's anything true about it, but his head's gone. Eme Suarez, Marcel needs to be good every game. He costs 50 million.
Well, I mean, on Martial as well. I mean, let's not forget, some people said he was a panic buy.
You know what? With De Gea, he was our best player last year. What's gone wrong this year? I think Mourinho's not free of blame, but we know the one consistent thing about United this year has been missing chances, and he can't put the ball in the back of the net. Jerome De Vries says Mourinho lost the dressing room already. I wouldn't have thought so. I think he needs to get rid of people like Rooney, because Rooney is a massive influence on the dressing room, and it's that's been known for a long time. Unfortunately, he's not been a massive influence on the pitch for a long time, and he needs to be got rid of. Mourinho's tried to get rid of him though. He tried to get rid of him in February, and Rooney wouldn't go. He'll be gone in the summer. Him with De Gea are the 2 guaranteed players gone this summer, and one really, really makes me feel sad, and the other one, I think it's time.
Yep, definitely.
Dunk says that Rooney smokes 20 a day. Well, I can't comment on speculation, but what I would say is what Marcus said. If you don't look after your body, Rooney would probably be still a very, very good player if he was playing in the early 90s and the late 80s, because he'd still be really fit compared to everybody else. But these lads are like super fit. And when you're not super fit, you look very stupid. And Rooney does look a second or two off the pace, and that's why his tackles are late. That's why his control's bad.
No, there's a comment here from Bottled It. Without Martial and De Gea, this team was struggling in the Championship.
It probably would.
That's the way we've been playing lately, yeah. Take Rashford, put Rashford in that as well, and I think, yeah.
Having said that, we're only 1-0 down because Rooney didn't mark his man.
Yeah, but Kane's missed a chance as well.
Yeah. Matta's the invisible man so far, said somebody. Yeah, a bit disappointed about that. Really wanted Juan Mata to turn up in this game. Having said that, it's a thankless task for anybody, I think, when you're playing in this sort of a side. It's going to tell you what, it's going to be a cracking show at 8:30 tonight. Set it aside. It's going to be very interesting.
When you set up like this, though, with that many defenders in the team, the park the bus expression.
Yeah.
The creative players, are just non-existent. So, in all fairness, what's the point of playing them?
Yeah. I mean, Mata's just played a ball to Rooney there, and his brain's just not engaging. And Mata's running all over the shop. He's like really up for it. Rooney's just jogging around. United in the Stands chant says, I miss players like Rafael and Hernandez who fight for the badge and give everything with quality. I would take them back any day, especially in their prime. Well, that was Van Gaal, wasn't it? I mean, madness. Absolute madness. And let's not forget, Van Gaal again got rid of Van Persie because he preferred Rooney. I mean...
The Trolls just made another comment to me. Firstly, stop constantly playing Fellaini and Lingard. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Stop trying to park the bus in games we're dominating. Yeah, to a point. Stop telling players they're too tired to play and the Premier League isn't important. Well,
yeah, I've not been happy with that at all. I think that's disgraceful.
But didn't Luke Shaw say that he was too tired to play sometime this season?
Yeah, there's just a bad attitude around the club. Let's be honest.
And let's be fair. That's not Mourinho's fault. Mourinho's not telling them, "Oh, sorry, you're too tired, you can't play."
Yeah.
Players coming up to him and saying, "Sorry, boss, but I don't feel well today. I don't want to play." Half hour, an hour before kick-off. Get out. Get out. There's the door. Out you go.
I nearly lost the stream a bit there. I whacked the microphone, but hopefully we'll be back now. No, I agree.
Someone's just said here, did I just say the team is overage? Yeah, there's plenty of players in there that are like 30, 31, 32 that shouldn't be in there. We rely on them too much. Their days have gone. Off the top of my head, Ashley Young, Michael Carrick, Wayne Rooney. Zlatan's 35, but I'm not going to include him because he's out injured. Schweinsteiger was over the age of 30, but he's gone. These are just... They're players. They've got no future at the club no more. They've done their part. They've tried their best. Won whatever they've won. Got whatever they've deserved, like money and contracts, and that's it. Time is up.
Here's Martial. He's in. He's going to get caught up, though. He's on his own, and he's pushed to the floor.
Where's the midfielders? They're not quick enough to support him.
I mean, I just said there on Twitter, I'm fed up of criticising Manchester United players. We've been doing it for like 4 years now, and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to criticise the players. We have to do it because they're not good enough. And I'm fed up of criticising Jesse Lingard, but what does he offer Manchester United other than videos of Paul Pogba dancing in a dressing room? He just doesn't offer us anything. And he's not the only one. But he's the only one who seems to get picked every single game. We are desperate. Somebody said it earlier. We are desperate for some natural width in our team. We are full of players who are quite creative, like Mata, Mkhitaryan. You could even say Rooney. But we've got no width, and no excitement or pace out on the wide. I mean, Rooney's going to have to be taken off. He's on a yellow card. He's very, 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 very close to being sent off. But we've got no width. I mean, we've played Rashford as a left winger this year. We've got Jesse Lingard on the wing. We've got no width. We've got to go and buy some width.
I mean, who springs to mind though? Who's going to want to come to this club? If we don't get the Champions League...
I'd get Irving Lozano, because I think that's exactly the sort of signing we will have to get. Somebody who's in a minor league with great potential, who would view Manchester United with absolute excitement, because it'd be a bit like when we signed Chicharito from Mexico. That's the sort of signing we've got to make, because you're right, we can't go and sign Marco Reus or someone like that, because they'll be like, well, why do I want to go there?
Well, I mean, do you reckon Mourinho would take that chance? Because I don't.
No, I don't think he would, but that's exactly what we need to do, because the club that he's got is the players that he's got at the moment. I mean, you know what? We said it last summer. We did a video, top 5 players that Mourinho must get rid of straight away, and he didn't. He kept them. In fact, he did a ridiculous thing, and he actually outed a player that would never have been on anybody's list to get rid of. Schweinsteiger, playing with the kids. Ridiculous. No. The only one thing that we would have got wrong is Rojo was on that list, because the improvement in Rojo has been immense this season. But yes, your Phil Jones, your Wayne Rooney's, your Fellaini's, your Lingards were even on that list. People were saying, look, these players cannot play much this season. They are not good enough. And they're all still here. And it's going to be a repeat this summer. Will he get rid of those players? And I know a lot of people like Fellaini, and I can see people in the comments there. But Fellaini, it's not about liking Fellaini. It's about the sort of player he is. We're never going to win a Premier League with Fellaini in the team, and he picks him too much. This is a good chance for Mata here. Stuck under his feet though. That's a late tackle there, surely. Ref doesn't want to give us anything though.
The Quote Master wants to know: would you take Suarez or Higuain?
I tell you what.
I'd
get Emil Heskey out of retirement over Suarez. I don't care. I'm not that interested in success that I'd have that cretin at Manchester United. I have morals, so no, I would never have Suarez at United. I know he's a world class player, but there are lines and I wouldn't cross it to have him at the club.
There's another good comment here from IJH3000. These last few years have killed us. Why on earth are we playing Lingard, but still we are selling players like Zaha and Welbeck who can play where they can? We are going backwards. Joke shot.
Somebody said before, I don't know whether it was MEFC Tactics, they said that Welbeck infuriated me way more than another save by De Gea, than Welbeck. Welbeck's 10 times the player Lingard is.
But that goes down to last season, doesn't it? Bad management. I think he basically told him that he wasn't going to get game time. Overall, I mean, as the first half comes to a close, to be honest, I think it's pretty piss poor.
That is half time. Well, I'll let you go and get a coffee, Marcus. You can join me again at the second half.
You sure you want me? Yeah.
Yeah. We need to keep each other sane. I'll speak to you in a minute. Thanks to Marcus for the first half. He'll be back with me for the second half. I'm sure Ross is going to join me in a moment. If you've done the super chat, I will get it in a minute. I think Wayne Rooney. My thoughts on that half is I just think Wayne Rooney's very lucky to be on the pitch. He's already had a yellow card. He's at fault for the goal. I mean, he either needs to be subbed or he'll get sent off. I mean, it's just one of the. We talk about it every game and say, look, Rooney's been really bad for weeks. Surely we're going to get a good performance from him today. Just gets worse and worse and worse. Lingard, I don't get it. I can't say anything more than that. I've said it for a few weeks now. I just don't get why Jesse Lingard plays for Manchester United. I think Mata's shown a lot of endeavour without being very good. I think Martial has tried, but he just looks like a player who's ready to leave. Smalling and Jones are like Laurel and Hardy. Twansibi's a young lad trying to forge his way in the game in a crap team. Carrick trying to... basically trying to stop a tidal wave with a bucket. Blind, he's not done particularly bad. And Bailly, I think he's been mugged off a few times. De Gea, comfortably the man of the match. A shambles is a word I would use, Ross. I don't know about you.
Yeah, do you know this Do you know what this game needs, mate? It needs to bring on Rooney and Lingard at half time, I think, because they ain't played the first half. They're absolute shambles. So disappointed. And what I'm more disappointed is I think Mourinho's actually got it tactically right. I think the way he set the team up and the 20 big man marking thing, it works. It's just the fact that the players, yet again, are just letting down and letting us fans down. That is probably the worst 45 minutes I've seen Rooney play in the United shirt, and I've seen some shockers from him recently. It was awful, and it really there's nothing more frustrating than when a player shouts and berates everyone else. I know he's captain for their mistakes, and the mistake for the goal was just crap, pure crap. So yeah, I just can't believe it. That was the longest 45 minutes of football I think I've ever watched. It was dreadful.
I'm just sticking with Rooney there because I know we were speaking about him in the we go live an hour before the game on the United stand when the team news comes in and we talk through it and everything like that. We did talk about Rooney and it was the same as what we've been saying for a long time. I mean, he's very poor, but hopefully he can just pull something out that he's not done for 3 years. It's not going to happen, is it? It's just not going to happen. He is well and truly shocking as a footballer now, and I think it's got to the point where picking him is actually detrimental, even in a reserve team. He just shouldn't be playing.
Definitely, and I think the only way to turn this game around for United is to hook him and hook Lingard and put on McTominay and the other lad Mitchell, who I don't actually know a lot about. I don't know where he plays. Just put him on the pitch because they'll show more fight than what we've got out there today. I feel sorry for players like Mata, who I think has actually shown quite a lot of running, but hasn't really put a foot wrong. But just every time he passes it to a player, the move breaks down, and it is annoying. I know that it's easy to pick out Rooney here when the whole team is underperforming, but when you don't you had one job, mate, to mark Wanyama, and you just stood there like a lemon and let him go. It was pathetic, absolutely pathetic. And that, from me, from a captain. I mean, you saw, it's annoying as well because Rooney, these things like this wind me up. He is a big character in the dressing room, I get it, but no player will have a go at him out there. If I was Smalling or Jones as centre-backs, I'd have been shouting at him there, what are you doing? But they won't because he's Rooney, he's the captain, and maybe he's a little bit too big of a personality for United now, and that might be one of the reasons why he needs to leave.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's a really good point because if I was playing and that was, I would be bollocking that player, but no one's going to dare do it to Rooney because he's too big. He's too big, but he's got the status of a world-class player, but he's got the footballing ability of a championship player, and that is that is a balance that Manchester United. And Mourinho, in fairness, has dealt with it quite well. He doesn't play him in important games, but when he needs to rest players, there's questions going to be asked if you've got a fit £300,000 a week player and you still won't pick him. But I think we're at that point now. He shouldn't even be getting in the team. A really, really, really bad performance for him. I think he's quite lucky to be on the pitch, actually. He's gone in late a few times. He's picked that yellow card up. But there was a great point you made about Mata there, because a few people in the live comments during the first half were saying Mata's played really poorly. Actually, if you watch the game, Mata's played quite well, but Lingard and Rooney are making him look bad. He's playing intelligent passes, but Rooney's just not reading it, and then it looks like a misplaced pass. But when actually it's a good pass, but the players around him just haven't got the brains to read it anymore. I'll come back to what I was saying before the game, Ross. You mentioned Lingard. I just don't get. If I could have 5 minutes with Mourinho, a lot of people would say you just say why do you pick Fellaini. I think actually I wouldn't. I think it's got to the point now where I'd say why do you pick Jesse Lingard? I don't get what he offers Manchester United. He's not strong. He's not particularly quick. He's not creative. Unless he gets a shot from about 20 yards out at Wembley, he's actually pointless. In fact, as I said in the first half, I don't get what Jesse Lingard brings to Manchester United at all, other than videos of Paul Pogba dancing in a dressing room, because I don't get it. But he's a first team player.
Mate, you got that spot on. Fellaini, you can argue that there's an aerial threat. He scored a header on Thursday. That's what he brings to the team.
Yeah, Jesse I don't Lingard, agree with that, but I can see that. Yeah, see it, yeah.
But you can't see it with Lingard at the minute. I mean, the old argument would be movement, but what's the point in movement when you can't hold on to the ball? You can't. That pass to Anthony Martial that he played down the left wing was pathetic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he was in such a good position there, and it's such an easy pass to make. And it was pathetic. And little things like that all over the pitch is what separates us from teams like Tottenham. Because if that was a Tottenham winger, that would have been put into their striker, Harry Kane. It would have, they would have been 2-0 to them. And we're lucky not to be 2-0 down today. I like you said, I feel sorry for the players that are trying, like De Gea, who must, De Gea must be looking at the back four in front of him and be almost in tears. I would be, because it's pathetic.
It's so ironic about De Gea. It's so ironic that we were talking before the game about what an opportunity this is for players to put themselves in the shop window for the final. The one player who is head and shoulders above everybody else, man of the match, absolutely superb, peppered all over the place, David De Gea, and Mourinho's already dropped him from the final and said he's not playing. It just typifies Manchester United this season, is that the one player who is absolutely world class today, and he's already not playing in the final. I don't think he's actually made any saves, to be fair, that Romero can't save, but I think it's just shown again why De Gea should be playing in that final for me, but we know he's not, and then he's the best player on the pitch. So a player who knows he's not playing in the final, but he can get his head right, and players who've got opportunities to force them. I mean, Jones and Smalling, one of them will be playing in the final, and they just don't look like they're asked.
I think this was an audition for them to be centre-backs for that final. I think Jose would...
play De Gea, though.
Maybe... Yeah, exactly. He'd maybe look at that. And I think he's looked at that today, and he's looked at Blind as a left-back and thought, I wonder if that back three, obviously Valencia will play Bay, can work. No chance. Absolutely no chance. And I saw a few comments on Twitter. I think about 2-3 weeks ago, it would have been crazy to say that we would play Twanzebe in the final of the Europa League. Looking at it now, stick him in there, because he's got strength, he's aware. Look, he might be a little bit wet behind the ears, but there's better than just calamity, what we've got there at the minute. It's, and I was doing, you do it sort of all over the pitch with players, but I did about 10 minutes of sort of player cam on Phil Jones, and his movement's shocking. He tends to just walk about, and when he was sort of, kissing Harry Kane's ankles down that right wing when he just run past him, I thought it's embarrassing, really embarrassing. And even Gary Neville was picking up on it about, just how poor we are today, and it's infuriating to watch. But the game's not over. It's 1-0, and I think substitutions at half-time can change this. And it is really key to see if Jose is willing to make them.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of people agreeing with you there, saying that Twanzebe should just play centre-back with Blind. Yeah, well, nobody from that first... Well, I think Mata played well. Martial's isolated, says Ian Forward. I mean, what's your thoughts on Martial? He is really dividing a lot of fans at the moment. Ross, what are your thoughts today on him and in general? I mean, you said there's no chance of him working his way into the final team.
I don't think he can. I think regardless of how good he plays, he won't be in the starting 11. I think he's had a mixed game. I think he's shown really bright patches being so isolated. The only negative about it was that Eric Bailly cross where it wasn't just him. It was him, Rooney and Lingard were just standing there watching it go into the absolute perfect position. And a little bit of that is his motivation and movement, and a little bit of that is he's just not expecting balls like that from any of the players today. And I think people were quite shocked that happened. But you'd expect any decent striker to make the movement regardless, and it was annoying that he didn't. But saying that, he's made some fantastic runs, and he's just getting no support every time he is running. He loses the ball a lot running at sort of the back three, but what else can he do? He can't pass it to anyone. Rooney's about 40 yards behind him, so he's trying his best, and it's not good enough today, but I don't think he's had a poor game. I just think he's had no support. Yeah,
I'd agree. Vahan says, Mark, should we bring Mickey on for Rooney or Carrick? I'll bring Mickey Mouse on for Rooney, to be honest. Avery Sharp, guys, what's all the negativity about? I think we're doing fine considering we're playing with our reserves. Interesting point. I totally disagree with it. I know it's our reserves, but they should be playing better than that, surely, Ross?
Yeah, reserves. I mean, that's the most expensive reserves I've ever seen in my life, that. I mean, Rooney, Lingard, Mata and Martial are probably drawing a hell of a wage. So So no, and you know what? That's our back four that we're going to probably start against Ajax. We're giving out Bailly, so it needs to perform better. I mean, it's all over the place, and it's a shame to see. I think Carrick has faded a little bit, and look, he can only do his best, and he isn't getting the support around him either. But I think he is fading a little bit as a footballer, and
well, it's
too deep
inevitable, though,
for me.
isn't it? You know, that is inevitable at his age. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's 35. He's not Rooney's age, 31, and he's. I think Carrick, you can see that he's coming to accept that. I think it's clever from Rooney to come out in a press conference and say he doesn't want to leave United because he knows how crap he is now. So he's probably trying to cling on.
Yeah. Fantastic, Mr. Fox. Where's the tenacity mark? Yep, exactly. We're parking the bus. A lot of people are saying that. Look, you know, Spurs will win, says Oliver Warmington. I just hope we can score a goal in this half because I think it's going to be. I don't really care what rivals say. I've never cared. People who watch the United stand know my personal opinion is not that of the United stand, but my personal opinion is I will be critical where it needs to be critical. I don't like being critical of Manchester United players, but I don't get what Jesse Lingard offers Manchester United. I don't, and I will say that. And people can say, oh, you should back every player in a United shirt. This is exactly why the vast majority of you will not be subscribing to that. Because actually, we back the club and the badge. We don't back everybody who wears the shirt if they can't be asked to wear the shirt properly, which is a lot of the players today. But I don't like criticising them. But we will get a lot of stick, Ross, if we don't score in this second half, knowing that 6 away games, or against the top 6 this season, we haven't scored away from home. That's abysmal.
Yeah, massively. And if I was a rival fan now, I'll be rubbing my hands together at this because we have been abysmal. And yeah, it's been against the top 6 all season, but there's just too much. Sort of everyone seems to be blaming each other out there, and there's no real team performance. I get that they probably all get on outside of football, but if I was on that pitch, I'd be furious with my teammates around me because no one, apart from who I don't want to big them up too much, but I think Juan Mata's really tried.
Yeah, definitely has. Yeah.
So I think he's won, and you know what, Carrick is Carrick. You know, he's not going to be making darting runs, so I'm not going to criticise him too much either. He is what he is. He's a 35-year-old, defensive midfielder. So apart from that, I think Bay's played good, but the rest just need to step up. And I'm really looking at Jose now. Is he going to throw the game? Because if you keep Rooney on, you've thrown this game. Or is he going to try and make a substitution? Try and bring Mickey on, or even one of the young lads? Because McTominay, who I think he'll do a much better job than Rooney today, and it give him another game, and keep the fans happy.
I think it's a great point, because I think if Mourinho isn't asked, like a bit like Arsenal, it sends the wrong message out. So basically, you're not bothered about Manchester United losing a game in the Premier League. We don't want that, and that mentality seeps into the squad. But I'll see you back at 8:30, Ross. Thanks for coming on.
I'll see you there, mate. And hopefully, we're talking about not a United loss, but maybe a draw. Like you said, your betting tip.
All right, mate. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Ta-da, Mark.
Ta-da. You can follow Ross on Twitter at Hazza90. Please do that. We've had a live super chat from Andrew Southwark, who says, Mark, I think Jose needs another season, but also some of this needs to be put on him for his tactics recently. Can't put all the blame on the players when they probably hate the tactics in the first place. It's a great point, Andrew. Don't forget, join us tonight at 8:30. We are going to be very, very honest about this Premier League season, which has been a shambles. Who is at fault? What does it mean about the Europa League? What does Mourinho need to do next season? It's going to be a very, very... It's not a season-end review, because obviously we've got that in a few weeks' time, but it's a very much a Premier League look at what's gone wrong this season, where the blame lies, how are you feeling as fans, and of course, if you don't agree with a lot of what's been said tonight, get involved in the live comments, and we've got Skype Goldbridge tomorrow night at 8:30 where you can have your say as well. But the kickoff is about to occur. What I would say is a lot of people have been very negative about Van Gaal, as was I, and have said, no matter how bad it's been and how many points we've dropped this season, we're not as bad as we were under Van Gaal, which I have agreed with all season. But actually, I think the last few weeks, the football's been very, very poor. And as of the results and the effort levels, it's very reminiscent of the whole period of Van Gaal, to be fair. But we have played some really good football this season, and there's been some really good effort levels. But the last few weeks, you couldn't you wouldn't be surprised if Van Gaal was still the manager, and it's a weirdo situation. The game has started. I'm waiting for Marcus to join me back again. Let me get the timer on, because that is right. We are 35 seconds into the second half. Please do drop a like on the video. We've not gone past 1,000. We normally do 1,000 likes by half time. I know I haven't really been plugging it, but if you like the video, if you like the United stand, please do drop a like on the video. Let's get up to 1,000 on that. And let me remind you that if you are new, I know we get a lot of new people watching on the watch along, subscribe to the channel. It's the bottom right hand corner. And we're not just a watch along channel. We are live at 8:30 with Sunday Night Live. We are live tomorrow night at 8:30 with the Skype show, where you can Skype in and have your say. We're live pretty much every night at 8:30 on the United stand, and 7 a.m. every morning with Transfer Daily till the end of August. So lots of content. Get involved with United stand and have your say, because at the moment there's a lot of United fans with a lot of things to say. We're getting a bit frustrated again, and it's been like that for the last few years. So click the subscribe button, bottom right hand corner, and make sure you click the bell, because that will give you a notification when we go live. We are a live content channel. Marcus is back, but before I go to Marcus, we had a couple of super chat questions or comments. Danish Shastri says, rationally, however, we need to protect players for the final, because that's the problem we've faced throughout. And he also says that the Premier League games are very important to win right now to ensure positivity among the fans and confidence in the players for the Europa League final. Thanks for the contribution, Danish, and I totally agree. I think Mourinho's been very dismissive of the Premier League, but if we were to get beat 4 or 5-0 here, that's negativity you don't want in the squad. You've got to keep a strong mentality of confidence.
This squad hasn't got a strong mentality, mate.
Oh, come on, please.
Not at all. Glad to see Rashford warming up. Those first bit of positive I've seen.
I agree with what, I don't know whether you heard what Ross was saying at half time, Marcus,
No.
He was basically saying that this game will be reflective of how much Mourinho cares about losing a Premier League game. Much depends on how long he keeps Rooney on the pitch, because if this was like a game we needed to win, let's say Liverpool had lost today and Arsenal had lost yesterday, and we'd still got top 4 in our hands. If this was a game to win, you just wouldn't keep Rooney on it. If this is a game he's not really asked about, he'll just keep it the way it is. 2-0.
Yeah, there we go.
And it's Harry Kane. Harry Kane scores against United. But that shows you how bad we are. How bad we are. An early goal again.
It's the same. Yeah, a header, cross. So I mean that shows how bad the defence is.
Yeah.
I mean Bailey's an absolute rocket centre defence, but he's no right back.
Look at that.
And
Trying to see it
Smalling and Jones.
I never got near it.
It's Smalling, that's far.
Watch that. Never
It's,
got near him, look.
How many more mistakes have these players got to show until Jose thinks, right, sod it, out you go now? I mean, there was arguments about Smalling when we were away at Chelsea that every goal had him involved in, and there's this as well, and
It just shows how bad we are that we've let Harry Kane score.
Yeah.
It really does. You can gauge the performance on that. And I'm not, Harry Kane, a lot of people like him, but we always put him in the centre-back's pocket, and just shows how bad we are. It wasn't even a free kick, by the way, I've got to say. It was really soft. But you've got to defend what's in front of you, and I'm long past blaming refereeing decisions with this side, because we're not getting top 4 because of our own inabilities. You can't blame that on referees, and I refuse to do that.
no, but I mean it's the first 5 minutes again. So you would question
Switching off, mentality.
Yeah, where's the concentration levels here?
Yeah.
And like I don't know what more you can say about it, mate. It's without actually swearing a lot.
Well, the thing is, we were. It's the worst unbeaten run in history, because we started it in 6th and we finished it in 6th. But we were unbeaten for a long time, and these last 2 games, it's like, why didn't we just, put a tweet put a tweet out saying he wants to play for Manchester United on Sunday, and then he could have arrested everybody because I just think there's been such a negative attitude to the last couple of games. I mean, top four wasn't even gone against Arsenal, and we sort of conceded it. Today, obviously, it was gone, but he conceded it in the press conference. The mentality's just rubbish, and I know that me, you, and half of the people on the live comments had put more effort in than this. Just shambolic, absolutely shambolic. And I know there's nothing on the game. We've got a bloody cup final in 2 weeks' time. You can't just go into it. You can't just go into it like that.
No, these people should be showing.
Oh, it's bloody Rooney. Look again, loses the ball on the break.
Well, I mean, there's no effort for him to get back and get the ball.
This is a walk in the park for Spurs. Real walk in the park.
I caught the end of Ross saying that Mata looks like the only one that's trying. Yeah, he does. He does look like the only one that's trying. But then you look at what's around him. It's absolute garbage.
I've just seen the first common sense comment from a Liverpool fan I've ever seen. Ryan Kirkpatrick says Ajax are going to ruin you. When I've said this and how we tactically need to get it right, all I've heard from people is, nah, there are shambles at the back. That's going to be pretty much irrelevant when we're parking a bus. Doesn't matter how bad they are at the back if you don't actually press them. We don't press anybody anymore. We just sit back, let everyone come at us. He's got to change the mentality. It's all right, people saying, "Oh, it doesn't really matter. It's only Spurs. We've got bigger fish to fry. We've got a cup final." Momentum breeds confidence, and momentum breeds bad performances as well. And these players are not playing good enough. So who is there to come in? Obviously, Herrera, Pogba, Rashford, Valencia. That's 4 players. Apart from that, then this team's going to have to be made up of some of these players.
I think I'll probably get a bit of hate for saying this, but I think when you look at the bigger picture and the way I would look at it is I hope that we would get beat 3 or 4-0 today. So maybe it would show Mourinho how bad these players are.
No, because all it'll do is he'll think, oh, this is why Fellaini's so important, which is another false opinion to have against the team that's going to play football. I mean, Fellaini. If we had Fellaini playing today, I don't think the result would be any different because Spurs moved the ball so quick that he would be ineffective. And also, God, I thought Keane. They're all over us now. He needs to make subs.
This suit. I mean, if we are pinning, I mean, a lot of us at the start of the season said, we wanted the top 4 in the Premier League. The Europa League was a Mickey Mouse Cup. We didn't want to be in it. It causes so much aggro for us during the Premier League ties. But I mean, now, if you're looking at this performance, I mean, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, Jesus Christ, what if this is how we turn up against Ajax and everything goes out the window in 90 minutes, it's all over.
There'll be a lot. I mean, this is one of the things we're going to talk tonight about at 8:30 because we're going to be talking about the Premier League season because it's effectively over what we should have achieved. We won't be getting top 4 now, so we'll be talking about that tonight. But we'll also be talking about what are we doing? Who should be playing in the Europa League Cup final and how we should be managing that. And I, I've done a lot of research on Ajax over the last 3 or 4 days, which I'll be bringing into the show at 8:30 as well to sort of educate those people, and I know some of you will know it already, as to how they play football and what a problem it's going to be for us compared to the way we're playing football at the moment. If we play against Ajax like this, they will kill us. They will absolutely kill us because Ajax are defensively weak, but if you're parking the bus, you're not testing their defence. So the only hope we can have against Ajax is to actually press them and try and get at them, not to sit back. We haven't got players good enough to sit back.
I mean, at the minute, I think it's going to be at least 3-0 because normally that Son guy usually scores, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's not on the score sheet yet.
But I don't understand what Mourinho's doing at the moment. He can have the attitude of, it doesn't matter, which he seems to think is fine as a Manchester United manager at the moment. I think it's disgusting the way he's approached these Premier League games, speaking so negatively before we've even kicked a ball. But the reality is, this game is going to be 3 or 4-0 before it's over, unless he makes changes. And why is he not making changes? Because he can't be asked, because he's like, well, it's only the Premier League. But we are Manchester United fans and we take pride in our club. I don't want to see us getting beat 3 or 4-0. I don't.
No.
I want to see some pride in the shirt. You can't just pick and choose your games. This is a game. It's important. I don't want to get beat 3 or 4-0. I don't. And you can't allow your side to get beat 3 or 4-0 and then in the press conference 3 days ago, I won't be getting sacked in the summer if we don't get in the Champions League because we've had a great unbeaten run. An unbeaten run that started with 6th and finished with 6th. He's full of false achievements. And, I mean, I'm making myself sound like I don't back him because I do back him and I do put the full blame with the players this season because I think they've been shocking. But he's got, at this point, this is what he's paid to do. He's paid to sort this issue out. And at the moment, this is not representative of how Manchester United should play. And he shouldn't be dismissive of it, saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter too much. It does matter. Some of these players have got to play in the final. And even if it's subbing 3 of them right now, even if it's the centre-backs and saying, get off, and giving him a kick up the backside, do it. Do something. Because if he's got a mind on any of these people playing in the final, and to be honest, Smalling or Jones are probably going to have to play in the final, he needs to sub them off right now and embarrass them and force them to come back training in the week and be like, oh, I've got to do better than that.
You know what? I wouldn't play Smalling or Jones in the final. I'd
got to play someone centre back.
I know, but I'd go Twanzebe, to be honest. I really would.
Yeah, but
because I don't think. I know he won't do that, but I mean, I can't see that kid doing any worse than what these two have done.
No.
I really can't. And take into account he's playing out of position as well.
Stuart Marston says, do you think all the games has caused this problem? No. If you're old enough to remember the 1999 season when we won the treble, we were playing exactly the same amount of games with a smaller squad and we still managed to win the treble. I mean, that was because we had a better side, but my point is we were playing as regularly in the last few weeks of the season and we were using a smaller amount of players. So it's not an excuse at all. Mourinho wants us all to believe fatigue is an excuse. In fact, I guarantee you, when we've lost this game, his post-match conference will be, I can't criticise any of the players today. They're giving me 100% effort and they're tired. And we know that's absolute nonsense straight away because Rooney's hardly played. There's a number of players. Carrick's hardly played. There's a number of players. Martial's hardly played. Mata's hardly played because he's been injured. Same for Smalling and Jones. He's mugging himself off by saying that. But I guarantee you will say it.
Yeah.
Steve Nesbitt, first game I've switched off since Van Gaal. I mean, that's worrying. I'm just going to quickly pop for a quick number one. I'll be back in about 60 seconds, Marcus. But one of the things I would just sort of say and get your comments on, and everyone on the live match reaction, is this. We've been saying all season that there's no comparison to Van Gaal and Moyes and Mourinho because the football's much better. But over the last month, I don't really see a hell of a lot of difference. It's very defensive. And that's just stupid by Lingard. It was into Mata's path to hit it and he takes a touch. Right, hit it now. That's what you're good at. Hits it wide. Right.
No, he won't do that. Right, mate, see you in a minute. Right, let's have a look at some comments then. Benny Vlogs is a Spurs fan. Well done. Ian Walsh. Rooney is so past it. Yep. Let's have a look. Small Clubs, Small Fans by Russ McGarry. Let's have a look. And Damien McKee, I said give it to Giggs when Moyes was there. Still would like to see Giggs given a go whenever Mourinho leaves. That's probably the dream, isn't it? Jack Boy, where's Rashford?
Coming on now.
Beck, Marcus, your opinion on your appreciation club, right? Jack, Herrera, Mickey coming on. I don't think they're going to make much difference, to be honest. Paul Smith, we're going backwards. I'd semi-agree, but not totally. Marcus, what is the difference between Juve and United? Well, Juventus have got a better squad, mate. Simple as that. Shouldn't have sold Welbeck. No, I don't think we should have. He would have been a good option off the bench. Jay Hodgson, we should be able to do Spurs at their last game at the Lane. Yep, or we should at least be competitive. Let's have a look. Jesse Hitman Chair. There's a super chat from Danish Shastri. Lose the battle, win the war. Thank you for the super chat.
Mickey and Herrera.
You back, Mark?
Yeah, double substitution. Mickey and Herrera.
Mickey and Herrera,
Be interested to see who he takes off. 14 and 20. Oh, for God's sake.
No,
Takes Twan CB off.
well, the only positive I can see from that is he'll probably get game time during the week. When is the final? The 24th, I think it is, Mark, isn't it?
It's a week on Wednesday, so...
Yeah, 24th, yeah.
At least he's took Lingard off, but... Well, that's the best contribution Lingard's had all game. He's just gone off doing his silly little handshake, you know, where he goes like that. He's just done about 4 or 5 of them as before he sat down. It's sort of like, I don't know how it works, but it's one of these, I don't know, pretend gangster things where he shakes their hand and does the little flap each side and that and all that. You know, he did 5 in a row. I'd give him 10 out of 10 for them. Right. He's finally gone.
Stejak FIFA says, I hate Mourinho. Should have done more signings last summer. It is his fault I've been Jose out for the whole season. Please talk about that with Mark.
See, I disagree with that. I mean, everyone knows I'm pro Mourinho, and I won't turn against him. I won't turn against him until next season because I think he's got to have the 2 years. I think the signings he made in the summer were good. But I do agree with the point to an aspect in the sense that he didn't get rid of enough deadwood. Definitely didn't. And he victimised the wrong player in Schweinsteiger. And I was consistent about that even when we were playing well at the start of the season. I was told to shut up. But I've been proved right about that. But the problem he had is when he comes into the club at the start of July, you're going off to China within 10 days, and you've basically got 10 days to come into a club and decide to sell players. And Mourinho, knowing what Mourinho's like, he's quite arrogant about, I can get the best out of players that have been poor. You know, he said it in August, I'm going to make my United fans love Fellaini. And I said at the time, never going to happen. He'll have the odd game where Fellaini does well because he can't be crap all the time, but he's never going to turn him into a player that's a Manchester United quality player. And I think that naivety of Mourinho has definitely caused a problem. But that's why this summer's so big for him, because if he doesn't get rid of people like Phil Jones, Wayne Rooney, what a shot by Martial! He's been unlucky today. If he doesn't get rid of those players, then he has to start to take the blame. I'll give him a free pass last summer because he had to do a hell of a lot in a short period of time. And we as fans knew, because we've been, he's only been managing Manchester United for a short period of time. We've been supporting United for years. So we knew which players need to go. If he doesn't get rid of them this summer, now he's had the time to realise that, then it starts to fall on him. But I can't be anywhere near Mourinho out at this point. No way.
No, I mean, until he's had the same amount of time as Van Gaal. I mean, I didn't expect much from this season anyway. I thought maybe one trophy and that would be it. Seeing as he's counting the Community Shield as a trophy, and then we've won the League Cup, and we're in the final of the Europa League as well. I mean, if you're going to class that as 3 trophies, then for me it would be a successful season considering how bad the squad is and the damage that's been done. So for me, that would be positive. But I mean, next season, I know you say you expect us to win the title. I'm a bit wary about it. I would say we'll challenge for it, but I don't think we'll win it. I just think the amount of job this summer he's got to do with the ins and outs, it takes time, doesn't it, for players to gel and bed in. And I think, the players that will come in, whether it's 4, 5, 6, I just think it'll be too much of an ask to win the league next season.
I think the great thing about next season is that everybody like Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal and Spurs will all be in Europe. Whether it's the Europa League or not, there's not going to be a big club like Chelsea and Liverpool. I say big club, Chelsea. They're not going to have that one game a week thing, which is a massive, massive advantage. But if we don't get Champions League football, though, then he's just going to have to ignore the Europa League because we've tried it this year and it's been a bloody shambles, to be honest. But we managed to get to the final.
That's not that. Getting to a final. I mean, that's not good enough. For me, that's not good enough. just saying, oh yeah, we're in a final. Because if we don't win it, no one remembers second place. So
I know. If we don't win the final, then
if we don't win it, then it's going to be diabolical. But I mean, let's not forget. I mean, we all say that the Europa League is a poor man's Champions League, So, it's not. We're pinning hopes on a second-rate competition to get into the Champions League when we know we should be in the Champions League already. But because of the squad and the damage that's been done, we're not. And we need to give this man time to put it right.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely made mistakes this season. I'd agree with that, 100%. But I think most of it comes down to the players. I mean, one thing I said a few weeks ago is he would never have expected this Wayne Rooney. I mean, we as fans didn't expect this Wayne Rooney.
No.
When he came to United, he would have thought, with Wayne Rooney, I mean, he might be getting a little bit older, but getting a 20-goal-a-season striker. You're not. You're getting somebody who's got a ridiculously brilliant contract, who's actually probably no better than what we've got in the youth setup, and that's the steep decline of Rooney. It's ridiculous. So he's been unfortunate in relation to that. He's been really let down by the amount of missed chances we've had and the inability to put sides away at home that we should have done. I agree with that. Some of the football we've played this year, especially around October time, is the best we've played in years. But I think the last month we've been very negative, and it's been very similar to Van Gaal, apart from we've not kept the ball as well. I think he's mishandled some players badly. I really do. I think the favouritism for some players over others has not been right. And I think that's backfired. I look at Anthony Martial and I think he's just a player that's 100% bereft of confidence when an arm around the shoulder that he seems to want to give some players, but not him, would be 100% beneficial. Luke Shaw, again, I think he's been treated badly when others seem to get a free pass. So he has made mistakes, but ultimately those mistakes for me come down to the players. We'd have a lot more points if the players had put the ball in the back of the net.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which we should have got another striker, not just Zlatan. I remember saying to you in January when you were saying about trying to get Manolas in January, and I said to you, no, I think we need a striker.
Well, again, you've just brought up a good point there. We sold 2 players for good money in the summer, but in January, when on reflection, they would have actually been quite useful to have. And Manchester United are not a club that's ever really sold well, so it's not like, we needed the money. So I think it was a bit of a mistake to let 2, players go and then not replace them, or maybe should have kept one of them. I don't know, but
I think the biggest mistake for this season would have been the Schweinsteiger one. I think he would have been.
Well, he's infinitely better than Rooney, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, even if it was just for this season, he's the same sort of mould as Carrick, isn't he? Yeah. So they could have shared the role to the end of the season, and then he could have said, okay, because Schweinsteiger, the games I saw him play under Van Gaal and the cameos that he had under Mourinho, he looked like the perfect captain.
Yeah.
And he brought the energy, he brought the fight, he brought the spirit to the team, and he gave it his all, whether it was for 5 minutes or whether it's for 90.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think, the substitutions he's made today, Herrera and Mkhitaryan, what's the point of bringing them on? It's not as if we're going to win the game. You should have just brought those 2 lads on, Mitchell and McTominay.
Yeah.
At least give him a try. If he's thrown the game, which, whether he has or not is difference of opinion, but the game's done and dusted.
Yeah, we're not coming back from this.
No, exactly, yeah. So why not just throw him on, give him a chance? I thought that McTominay lad looked pretty decent against Arsenal.
Well, my player ratings on the match reaction are going to be quite good unless anybody really drastically improves in the next 20 minutes because I'm not going to mess about. It's and there's going to be a few pretty low ones. Probably our worst performance of the season, I think.
Oh, definitely, yeah. 'Cause, I mean, I know, it's hard motivation-wise when you're playing a league game and you're thinking, what is there to play for?
Yeah, you got a goal back. Great by Martial. 2-1. Bloody good goal. Best thing Rooney's done all game. Superb.
So that's the second thing he's done in this game.
Well, it's tapping for Rooney.
What's the point of putting? He puts his hands up in the air as though he's some sort of saviour. I mean, come on.
Good play by Martial. Very good play. It's a tap-in for Rooney. I mean, he shouldn't be going over the top. Well, it sets it up for the last few minutes.
I mean, wow, Rooney scored. Great. What else has he done?
Goal. It's probably going wide.
Yeah.
I think we can give it to Rooney. I think it looked like it was going to go in. I don't know what. See what the TV station says. I think it was going wide.
Oh, yeah, it was. I'd put that down as an own goal, mate. And I'd only say I'd put it down as an own goal because I just think his performance today don't deserve it.
Don't worry, I'm not giving it to Rashford. It was a great play by Martial anyway, I would want to say that. And we scored a goal against the top six. Yes, I knew there was something to be positive about. I don't think I've ever seen such muted reaction to a goal, really, because... but it just shows you what happens when you get on the attack and actually commit players, and that's what Martial did. He just thought, right, I'm going to run at my player. I've got a chance to... I've got a one-on-one situation, which he very rarely gets, and he made something of it. It's exactly why Martial should be playing on the wing. I've put it as an own goal. Don't worry, I'm not giving him it. I agree with Marcus. He's not having it.
And people are saying it. Look, stop hating on Rooney. Yeah, it's not hate. It's just, he's just not good enough. Why can't people see it?
Oh mate, don't even worry about it. I don't give a damn what people say in the live comments about the hate Rooney thing. They've got school tomorrow.
This isn't FIFA. It's not a game. This is our club that we love and respect, and we're quite content with players like this in our team. Just because he's broken a goal record and he's been here, so many years and all that, his heart's in Everton. He's a Scouser. He's wanted to leave twice.
I mean, I disagree with that. I mean, I'm not. I know a lot of United fans feel like that, so I'm not disrespecting it. But I'm not that bothered about that. I just think for me, it's the, after he decided he wanted to leave, he still did play quite well for United. But what I will be consistent about is he's just been crap for 3 years, and this season is a new low. He's just. I mean, I know he's potentially being given that goal, but he's been shocking today.
Since he's got all that money, he has not played well at all. Since he got the contract from Moyes, he went downhill.
Well, no. He was, Ferguson had seen this anyway. Ferguson was getting rid of him if he'd stayed. He didn't use him, did he, in that last season much at all? Van Persie was the main man. Rooney was sulking on the bench a lot of that season. And then we get Moyes, and the first thing he does is give a declining player a massive contract.
But if he didn't play for the majority of that season, then you can't really judge on how good or how bad he was in that season. But I just put it down. I put the decline down, not just to his age and that, but I think giving him that amount of money, it sort of sent out a message of he's the main man and he can do no wrong.
Dami Ibrahim saying Martial's not a striker, he's a winger. I agree, mate. I've been saying it for a long time. I think part of the problem is Martial thinks he's a striker as well. He's definitely a left winger, and he's most effective there. I'd start him in the final. I think he's actually one of the few players who's played well today. I know he didn't do a lot up front, but he was actually full of a lot of effort. But as soon as he's gone out to the left, he's played quite well. Funnily enough, Rooney's played better since he's gone up front. I mean, he couldn't have done much worse, but he's no midfielder. And we've been a better side, obviously, since we brought Mkhitaryan and Herrera on, because they're better players. But imagine if we managed to get a draw. It'd be absolutely amazing.
Well, I did say 2-2 at the start. If not, then I think it was going to be a drubbing.
Smalling's gone down.
I don't honestly see us winning the game. Smalling's gone down. He can stay down.
Martial, they reckon he's going to bring Rashford on for Martial, which again would be odd. 222 Damien says Rooney's lazy, unfit, and in his mind he's 10 years younger. Johnny Blaze 23, Mourinho will take Martial off. I'm sure he probably will.
Wouldn't surprise me. Say he might take Mata off.
Yeah. Roma Dude feels that Mourinho is failing to get the best out of the talents he's got. I have changed the scoreboard. It's 2-1, isn't it? Yeah. Give Rooney his goal. No, it's an own goal. I tell you what, if he scores another and equalises, he can have the first. But he's not done enough to deserve that first goal for me. And I did predict 2-1 Kwame in my prediction preview, didn't I? So, you know what, that'd be my second of the season as well. I predicted 2-0 against Chelsea. Not my second of the season, my second in the last month. I lose track of how many I get right, but I definitely remember I got Chelsea right, and I'm right on this at the moment. Thanks everybody for watching anyway. We've gone past 1,000 likes which is great. And remember, 8:30 tonight, Sunday Night Live. It's going to be quite a quick turnaround tonight because of this late kick-off at 4:30, which is a pain. But we will be live at 8:30 with the Sunday Night Live show, and we are going to be getting into it. So if you don't like a little bit of conflict, don't tune in, because we are going to be talking about this Premier League season. And I think there are levels of shambolic. Well, I think it's been a shambles, to be honest. And I think it's worth discussing who's at fault, what needs to be improved, and the second part of the show is about what team should we be putting out against Ajax in the Europa League final. I've done a lot of research on Ajax and how they play and everything, so I'll be feeding that in, and then we're going to be discussing, how it needs to manage the next couple of games, who we should be playing, and what the weaknesses are. It's Mata for Rashford. He doesn't seem to want to take Rooney off, does he?
That's probably the most disappointing thing of the day, that guy's still on the field. Clearly not good enough.
Mourinho's given Mata a hug, so hopefully that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, I think overall Mata's done well today, considering the team he was playing in.
It's going to be very interesting to see what team he picks on Wednesday, because we're talking about this with Ross before the game. He will not play players against Palace a week today who are going to play in the final, because that would be suicide to have them, why have them a little bit tired when they could have a week off. So whoever plays next Sunday is, I would say, more than likely not going to start the final. So the fact that he's given Rooney 90 minutes tonight, does that mean he's not going to play against Southampton, and he will play against Palace, which means Rooney wouldn't play in the final? Will Mata play next Sunday? I think the team on Wednesday against Southampton is going to be very, very interesting from a Manchester United point of view, because I really do think that the team that he picks against Crystal Palace on Sunday, you can take it as read that none of those players will be playing in the final. I think Pogba will play on Wednesday just to give him a bit of match fitness before. But it's going to be very interesting.
Is that Martial?
It's raining.
Well, how long we got left? 10 minutes.
Sam Singh asking about my back. I've got an MRI scan actually a week on Thursday, so thanks for asking, for those who recall it.
Oh, yes, I think that was an own goal. Watch the feet.
No, Rooney's shot's not going in. No way.
No, it's going wide, isn't it? That's an own goal.
You can see the angle on it. I'm good at that maths.
If someone said in the comments that Sky Sports would give it to Rooney.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. I'm not just giving him a goal out of bloody fortune. It was definitely going to go wide until it hits the player. He doesn't deserve it.
What have you done now?
10 minutes to go, folks. Let me just move off here. I'll start setting up my live match reaction stream while we're on as well. I'm going to be giving my player ratings. I've not really changed them much, and my man of the match has changed slightly, but it was always going to be a battle to give that today. I certainly think we've improved in the second half, to be fair, but I'm quite surprised by Spurs, really, Marcus. I mean, they seem to have taken their foot off the pedal this last half an hour.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it doesn't look as though they've got any urgency in their play anymore. I think once they got the second goal at the start of the first half, they probably thought that's it now. You know, United haven't threatened, didn't look dangerous at all. But I mean, now the changes have come. Yeah, we look a bit better. I wouldn't say we look massively better. It's improved a bit, but nothing drastic. Oh, what's this? If Rooney did not get the touch, it may not have gone in. From Shaka G. Luke Pender, Ajax can't work out our tactics if we don't have any. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the
plan. Carl Walker's just come on.
Yeah, well, he's linked with a move to. I think he'll go to City, to be honest.
But yeah, again, we got the goal, but where's the urgency? If we were fighting for something at Old Trafford back in the good old days, they'd be absolutely bombing and pelting things into the box.
Here we go, Spurs cleared off the line. Was that Phil Jones? Yeah, off the line.
Mourinho motivation. How old am I? 37. Yeah, someone else.
You're 37?
I'm 37, yeah.
Bloody hell. You must have had a hard paper round.
Why?
Dele Alli.
What do you mean by that?
Look it up. Get your mum to tell you.
I'll say it on air, come on.
Well, you're younger than me. I think that answers it all, doesn't it?
I think, people. I've seen a couple of comments today saying that I've got the most boring voice, but sorry, but I can't help how deep my voice is, and I'm full of cold as well.
I thought you were going to say you're full of something else.
Yeah, so here we go then. CJW21, you sound about 60. I'm full of cold as well. Someone else reckon I sound 54, 47, 60.
Oh God, there's an age run there.
55, 46, no, 37, honestly.
Well, to be honest, from getting 2-1 up, it's all Spurs now. As somebody said it before, it's like the Chuckle Brothers at the back with Jones and Smalling.
We're having a guessing game on the comments now. People guessing the age. I thought he was 30.
Who, me?
No, people saying about me. I sound mid-40s. I sound 80 now. 69, 22. Don't listen to him, Marcus. What's that? Don't listen to him, Marcus. Keyboard warrior muffins. 1,000 years old. Oh. Bit like
Ice
Master
cream man's
Yoda.
just gone past. I'm tempted to go and get one because I think this is going to end 2-1.
You ain't gonna miss much, mate.
Jesus Christ. It's tough being a United fan at times. You've got to laugh. I'll tell you what. I can't wait for... I mean, I know we get a lot of people watching from Sweden, so give us a little bit of insight. Is it warm? Is it likely to be warm in a couple of weeks in Stockholm? Because I'm really looking forward to the event. It's a cup final and everything like that. I tell you what, I think if we lose, well, whatever happens, that watch-along, we will just stay live for about an hour or two afterwards anyway, just to, enjoy the moment or the despair, because it could go either way.
Well, there's a good comment there from a Liverpool fan, just to go back to the age thing. He says I sound like an alligator. Didn't know alligators talk.
That's clever, Dad.
So overall, Mark, I know you do it in your preview thing, but I mean, if you could sum it up in one word.
There was one word that just came straight into my mouth, but I know we get a few people under 18 on the thing, and the first word that came into my mouth was the sh word that rhymes with kit. No. I think, to be honest, as much as I don't like saying this is not a 2-1 game. It really probably could be 3 or 4-0. So to come out of it with 2-1 is a positive, and it's a score I predicted. But I didn't predict this performance from United. I think we've been very, very poor. Obviously, I'm not going to give my player ratings or my man of the match because I do that on the match reaction. But I think De Gea certainly kept us in it, and I think Spurs have probably, maybe they're a bit deflated that they've not got a chance of winning the league because they could have been a lot better themselves. But yeah, I don't think it's been very good, and I'd be very disappointed if there are United fans out there who just think that a mishit tap-in from Rooney is enough to excuse him from what has been. And I'll give you one player rating. I'm struggling to give him better than a 4. I really am. And,
I don't blame you.
I never go 3. You may as well just not even been on the pitch. So I don't go 3-2-1 is an impossible score to get. 4 is absolutely, you are rubbish. And I'm split between the two at the moment, between 4 and a 5. So
stick with the 4, mate.
But I'm with Harry Borbag. I have got my man of the match, but I'll give you that on my match reaction. But very, 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 very disappointed by us, and more disappointed because players just haven't turned up when they've got an opportunity to force their way into the plans of the manager.
I mean, that's been a constant theme with Rooney as well. With your match ratings this season, 4s and 5s. So it shows how bang average this guy is now. It really is, and how you can say he's picking him just to give other people a rest and that. And Pogba hasn't travelled today, but who else is there? You could have played the kids. Oh, Sam Salah.
Did you put any blame would anybody, not just you, Marcus, as well? I mean, you can answer it, but people on the live comments as well. Would anybody put any blame at Mourinho for the way that the game has gone today, Marcus?
I would blame the build. I would blame him in the build-up and the pre-match conference. His conference that he did, saying that the game was basically already lost, and it's a bit defeatist to me and shouldn't be done. But in fairness to him, he's only really speaking the truth, isn't he?
Well, when you look at both goals, they were very, right at the start of both halves, lack of concentration, like you said.
Both in the first 5 minutes, both from across, and the marking was shambolic.
Not bad assistant referee holding up how long's left without turning it on.
It's, I mean, yeah, I'd put part of the blame down to Mourinho today, but I would go back to the point of the tactics. Yeah, okay, the tactics are negative, but with this squad and the way they've set up formation-wise, what else could he do? It's. I mean, people in the comments have said, certain people look overweight and not up for the fight. So you wouldn't say to a team, would you, go out and attack and overlap down the wings and get a ball into the box and see what happens? Because A, we don't have the players for that sort of energy. B, they don't have that speed, and C, we don't have wingers. So you can only put tactics out to what your team is, to what your lineup is. And if he's thought, well, this team, I don't particularly want to get beat 3-4-5-0, then I can understand it in a way, but some of it's got to go to him.
It's a good ball by Carrick. It's got Rashford in.
Come on,
Oh, just wide. It's a shame. That's why Carrick's so important. Danish has made a contribution. Thanks for that, Danish. He says, Mark, remember Jose's comments on specialist positions in August? Weird how he used the squad after that, isn't it? I think he's saying, obviously we haven't had that specialist position promise kept, but just while I'm going to get rid of these bloody flashing lights behind me. It won't be a minute.
Yeah. So there's 5 minutes added on. Just under 3 minutes left. Paul Cooper win no league with this manager. I think we will, but I don't think it'll be next season. Jason CR7, he chose to line up, go out to win the game. Yeah, I mean, that should be the mentality of them, but can the players do that? Obviously not. Gungshi, come on, we can do better than this with less negative tactics and mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Addy, Rashford needs to work on finishing. Yeah, I think Mark's been saying that quite a lot. His end product's got to be better.
Well, it's going to be, like I say, join us tonight at 8:30 because we're going to be, I didn't want to be talking tonight about a loss, and, I accept what a lot of people say about a loss and what it can, how important it is in the grand scheme of things. But what we will be talking about is the Premier League season, because in the grand scheme of things, that is over when it comes to top 4, and we need to sort of assess what we've done over this season, whether it's been good enough. I call it a shambles. So join us at 8:30. Give us your thoughts on that, and we'll also be talking about the Europa League final, sort of our first glimpse at it, really, as to how we would line up. And I think there'll be some different opinions on that. I know a lot about Ajax. I know exactly how I'd line up, but it won't be how Jose lines up, I don't think. So we'll be talking about that. But it's going to be quite a heated show, because I think you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest, and I'm a firm believer that your most strongest point to be critical is when there are, you're in a position of quite comfort, but also there are issues, and they shouldn't be masked. I think a few people are hiding behind the fact we won the League Cup, we're in the Europa League final, but there are issues for Manchester United, and I know that 99% of you will be aware of that, and we'll be discussing how we improve that, because I think we can improve it. I think Mourinho's got a massive summer ahead of him, and I think he will improve it, but how he improves it's going to be quite interesting.
Well, the summer will be defined by the Champions League, won't it?
Oh, it's so important. We've got, our season is a 1-game season now, and it's that Ajax game. And if we win it, we get into the Champions League and we can buy better players. If we don't,
then more of the same next season, I think.
Well, yeah, you can't afford to be in the Europa League, can we?
No.
That's it. Game over.
Done.
Spurs are on the attack.
Oh, God. Come on, defenders, get down there.
Oh, my God.
Fucking hell.
For a minute there, I thought James had brought him down.
That's what I thought, actually.
Well, done, mate.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on, Marcus, and I'll speak to you later.
No worries. Pleasure as always. See you later, everyone.
Ta-da, pal. Thanks. You can follow Marcus on Twitter. I forget what his thing is. It at Marcus.
At mad_Marcus13.
Cheers, pal. He'll be on the live comments later. Thanks for coming on.
No worries, mate. See you later.
See you in a bit. And I will be doing my match reaction in about 60 seconds on the United Stand channel. Just click the United Stand. You'll see the videos already set up. Tottenham versus Manchester United 2-1. Rooney goal masks poor performance. So the live comments is over there. Get yourself over there now. I'll be live with my player ratings and my thoughts on the game. And I won't hold back as per usual. I'm going to be honest. And I'll be over there in 60 seconds time. So see you in a moment.